sippers. Do we I know I don't, but do y'all trust Donald Trump? Do y'all trust Donald Trump enough to open up a Trump account, even though it says through the government, even though we know that they're going to pump it up and lie it up and all that good stuff? Say it's for one thing in the beginning and find out later that they done played in our face again. Are y'all really that trusting to Trump right now? I mean, we still ain't got the Epstein files that he promised. So you really want to give up all your credible information to get $1,000 for a child that was born in a particular year? It's like, how dare you? Do we believe that? Do we believe that he's gonna try to? Now he a bank. Since the bank won't trust him with any money, he want everybody. Okay, now we done got past the PPP loan that I done pulled y'all into my bull crap. So now I need some more money. So in this big old beautiful bill, this big old beautiful way to make money off of the people, and come up with another way. So I'm gonna act like I'm gonna give them $1,000 to sit in an account that's gonna have a whole bunch of stipulations, and by the time 2028 or 28 years, your kid will have $1 million. Y'all believe that? I need your social security number. I need your birth certificate. I need to put you in my little database. Yeah, I need to have your mama name, your daddy name, everybody in your family name, every address you done had since you been alive. Everything I need on you now. For you to get this $1,000 that has to sit here for 28 years. And it ain't yours. You know, it's kind of, it's not yours, but you got to add to this $1,000. You can't touch it. Can't touch that. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, doom. Can't touch that. Y'all believe in that? Let's hear this. I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to hear this mess. And I haven't listened to it. I waited to listen. It's just, no. I mean, if you ain't already got it. And who is the bank? It's the GOV. Oh, okay. Is this kind of how you really supposed to be? There was drugs on the Venezuela boats. And then you go over there and invade. And now we want the oil. Is this an oil deal? Let's listen.
From the lakes of Minnesota.
Oh no.
To the
Oh no. Cut the music out. He always do that.
In every American heart, and it's time we stand and say,
Yeah, I can do that music.
Delighted to be back in the beautiful Mellon Auditorium,
wonderful family. Tim
What?
Mellon is a great guy.
He don't look
He's
like
the
Donald
current
to me.
version of the Mellons. A fantastic person. To celebrate a thrilling new milestone for America, the
Hey,
first
Lisa.
generation of
He don't
Trump
even-
account children.
He's not even
Trump
pointing
account
at
children.
everybody.
For the first time ever, we're going to give every
Oh, yeah, he
newborn American child a
Y'all heard it.
financial stake in the future
Oh, wow.
ever.
Listen, this is a man who we know who has played with kids. I don't know how to process this, y'all. I promise. I don't know how. But I'm going to try my best to listen. He done played with kids. Now you want to act like you care about them. Let's listen.
All right, let's get down to business. That's enough of that.
We need some money.
But how good is Lee Greenwood? He was with us right from the beginning. First time I walked onto the stage, I heard that song. I liked it. I said, let's use it. It was 10 years ago, and he's been with us all the way. Fantastic guy. There's never been a man that made so much money from one song ever, and I'm happy about it. But I'm delighted to be back in the beautiful Mellon Auditorium. Wonderful family. Tim Mellon is a great guy. He's the current version of the Mellons. A fantastic person. To celebrate a thrilling new milestone for America, the first generation of Trump account children. Trump account children. For the first time ever, we're going to give every newborn American child a financial stake in the future, head start life, and a fair shot at the American dream, something people don't talk about so much, at least not for the last 4
Do we
years. They haven't been,
do we
but now
believe
they're
this,
talking
y'all?
about it big
Hit the like
this
button.
last
Hey,
period of time.
Specs.
It's been unbelievable. When you see what's going on with our economy, the tremendous investments that's been made in our country. We have over $18 trillion coming in. The most, I think, was three.
Y'all gonna open up y'all
10
accounts?
years ago, another country, not even our
Give
country.
Trump.gov.
We have $18 trillion,
Trump
and we have
account.
thousands of businesses
That
being built
good.
all over the country, and hundreds of
Y'all
massive
Social Security,
plants,
I'm
so
sure
big.
they already have
Car
it, but now
plants, AI plants.
he gonna have it.
With the
Him and
support of the
Jared
men and
with their
women
good
here.
idea. And they playing. Let me
This
hush.
beautiful room, over the next 15 years, we're going to
Hey, Max Boogie.
put $3 to $4 trillion
Precious.
of wealth into the hands of young
Thank
Americans
you.
who otherwise would have really started out with nothing. It's really an amazing.
Hey, y'all. Who the fuck is Jared? Where you see Jared? Did I put the wrong name in there? Oh, Lord. Jerry. Did I put Jerry? They view sniff behind the closed doors. Make America streets. Hey, the clown. He said, open up a Trump account.gov. Let me make your kids a millionaire. Y'all go, now all I need is, I need your child's grandparents' account information, your parent information, the daddy, his other kids. I need all this information. I need every bank that you bank with. I need all your info. Now this $1,000 can't be touched. It looked like it's there, but it really ain't there. And in 28 years, he'll be a millionaire. But I want a jump start. Maybe this is my way of paying back for all the little kids, allegedly, that I done touched and tampered with, and I done destroyed their life. Another scam, at least. Now, I know y'all thirsty, because I done put y'all all in a position to be money hungry, thirsty for a little change. You understand? So I'm going to give you this non-tax free. I mean, you got to pay taxes on this $1,000 that I'm, yeah. And you can't touch it. I just want you to be clear. It's yours. It's for the child. So it's just like any IRA, any type of investment. You can't touch it now. Now I'm gonna get my interest. I'm gonna touch my part of saying bankruptcy. When I saw this, I said, "Oh, please, people." It's always, oh my God. Now I know y'all see that they seizing my homes and seizing my properties and shit. And I know that y'all, that auntie feet ass, showed y'all Jared over there with the Gaza Plaza with all the Trump to the dump. And we looking for investors. And I was asking for $1 billion a seat. I mean, I know y'all know I need some money. But act like you don't know that. And put this $1,000 so I can be the new. I mean, this is how the Rothschilds used to do it back in the day. And they started their own. Now I'm putting my name on it because I'm a Trump and I'm proud for. I want to know I want y'all to see my name. Yeah, I ain't hiding behind other folks like them Rothschilds and Rockefellers and shit did. Yeah, I want y'all to know that it was Trump who stole from you. I mean, you know, this is all I was seeing when I was watching it. But carry on. Now, he look like one of his clones. He look like one of his reptilians. His mouth don't look right to me. You know, them little bitty eyes, you know. This don't look like the original to me. But carry on. Let's keep listening. Talk, man. Talk.
Amazing thing because it gives young children that start out with really nothing.
Oh,
and
my
we give
God.
them, boy, $18 trillion coming in. The most, I think, was Trump account children. For the first time ever, we're going to give every newborn American child a financial stake in the future, head start at life, and a fair shot at the American dream, something people don't talk about so much, at least not for the last 4 years they haven't been, but now they're talking about it big this last period of time. It's been unbelievable. When you see what's going on with our economy, the tremendous investments that's been made in our country. We have over $18 trillion coming in. The most, I think, was 3. That was 10 years ago, another country, not even our country. We have $18 trillion, and we have thousands of businesses being built all over the country, and hundreds of massive plants, so big, car plants, AI
With our
plants.
money.
With the support of the men and women here in this beautiful room, over the next
AI
15
plants.
years, we're going on with our economy, the tremendous investments that's been made in our country. We have over $18 trillion coming in. The most, I think, was 3. That was 10 years ago, another country, not even our country. We have $18 trillion, and we have thousands of businesses being built all over the country, and hundreds of massive plants, so big, car plants, AI plants. With the support of the men and women here in this beautiful room, over the next 15 years, we're going to put $3 to $4 trillion of wealth into the hands of young Americans who otherwise would have really started out with nothing. It's really an amazing thing because it gives young children that start out with really nothing. And we give them...
Because you done already brought... Now, you
more
see
money
Obama looking like what?
than anybody could imagine. From their standpoint, they'll have a real start in life. And that's why decades from now, I believe the Trump accounts will be remembered as one of the most transformative...
President Obama
policy
looking like
innovations
what?
of all time. And I've done a lot of them. The tax cuts, I've
Don't
done
believe
a lot
this.
of them, more than I think anybody. And I think this is going to be
He
one of the
lying,
most
y'all.
outstanding. Last summer, I signed the great, big, beautiful bill delivering...
And Nicki Minaj is
made this
co-signing this
possible
shit.
too. I actually made this
Cancel-
possible. Without it, we
cancel
wouldn't
Nicki
have been able
Minaj.
to do this. Delivering the largest tax cuts in American history, including no tax on overtime, no tax on
tax on
Social
tips.
Security for our great seniors, And, we did another thing. When you buy a car now,
Is this the
you
same
get
man who
a deduction on the
was
interest
cutting
payment if you
Social
borrow money.
Security and Medicare and
So look at it, rich
Medicaid?
people get so many deductions. I'm the king of deductions. I love deductions.
Is this the
But
same
people,
man? Hey,
some
Janet.
people never had a
He needs a
deduction
real
before. Now
makeup
they're
artist.
getting a deduction on the
Child.
test.
Hi,
They buy a
Mr.
car.
White.
It's going to have a huge impact on the automobile.
I will not trust
By the way,
him
there's
with
one
a
proviso.
penty. We better
It has
not.
to be made in America. If the car's made in another country, no thank you. But they're all going to
Wasn't
be
he-
made in America pretty soon because we have factories coming in from Canada, Mexico,
I can't
Japan,
with
Germany,
this
all over
man.
Europe.
Ooh.
They're all coming here to make their cars because they don't want to pay tariffs. Very simple. It wasn't very complicated. You'll see those numbers starting to produce. That's why you see these massive
He really
construction
don't
numbers.
understand
And soon when
numbers
those
because he
things
don't
start
never pay
opening,
his bills, y'all.
you're going to see employment, and you're going to see wealth creation for middle-income people like you've never seen before. Every single Democrat in Congress voted to raise taxes on hardworking citizens. Their whole campaign was raise taxes. I've never heard of it before.
Y'all,
All my
can
life,
we? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh Lord, it's just hard for me to sit here and listen to him lie. I can't. Help me, Lord. I just
grew up, and I hear politicians, we will cut taxes. This is the only group I've
You
ever
said,
seen
please,
we're going to raise the taxes. No wonder they lost. Actually, there were other reasons also. But together with the majorities in the House and Senate, we
I
overcame
just need
their
for
obstruction,
people to know.
and we
Listen,
put more money into
listen.
the
Oh,
pockets of every working American than anyone thought even imaginable. Perhaps no provision
I just
of the
need
great
people
big beautiful
to-
bill will prove more consequential than Trump accounts. Under this program, the U.S. government will automatically create a tax-free investment account for every newborn American child, something that nobody really would have even thought of. There were some brilliant people that thought of it.
I just don't, I just need for we the people to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Thinking everything that this supposed to be good businessman presents before us is for us. We have to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Now, when I first saw it, I said, oh, here he go. He baited. Now, why don't you, first of all, before you do anything, release the Epstein files. If you want us to trust and believe in you, yeah. If you want us to, I'm gonna do Trump on Trump. If you want us to believe you with anything going forward, release the Epstein files. Then we will believe you. Until you release the Epstein files, we don't believe nothing you say. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. Until you release the Epstein files, we don't believe nothing you say. Nada. Now, it's a simple fix. I know that, I'm doing Trump on Trump. We know that the Democrats done lied on you and painted a bad picture of you, and it's all fake news, fake news, fake news. And they did that on purpose, right? But in order to show my self-worth, I'm doing Trump now. This is Trump. He is not going to... Release the Epstein files, and we will believe you going forward. We will believe that you are a man of your word, that you have morals and integrity, and that character is a very important thing in this political race. It's hard for me to listen when I know I know it is hard. So, but listen to me now, cause I'm telling you the truth. We will believe you, Doodoo, Donald, if you release them Epstein files. See, we'll believe you. I mean, you gotta make good with what you said to get on, in order for us to keep riding your roller coaster, cause you up and down to the side, and you know, slide, slippery slide. Forget about it. Just sail along. That's what you do. Yeah, cause you be lying all the time. But if you release them files, we'll believe you. And we'll believe that this ain't no another scam. This ain't no another smoke and mirrors. This ain't another one of your little, they'll believe anything I tell them. Cause it's the Democrats' fault. The Democrats did it. They lied. It's fake news. It's fake, all of that. But we can't go now step further and believe in you until you make good on the last lie. How many lies are you supposed to have before we really start saying you a lie? You know you're a lie. You've been lying for years. Hell, everything about you is a lie. Other than you a PDFer, that you all up in there. I mean, you all up in there. And so I'm looking at you with Obama's side eye, cause see, he's the thorn in your side. He's your truth. he the one that's gonna make you look stupid and force you to tell the truth if you can. Cause he gonna come out there and say something real truthful like, and then you gonna have to come Obama versus Trump. A lie versus the truth. Yeah. Now, yeah, because you lying, and you gonna trick these people into thinking that the only way they can get this, that, oh, here we go. Trump, the only one that done ever gave my kids $1,000 for the future, for what is it? What is it? What they call it? Their wealth. Oh, he get my vote. He get my vote. Now, then, let alone that he done took your ass out Section 8 and he done took some of your food stamps. So he better give you $1,000 that you cannot touch. And you got to put a certain amount every month in it for 28 years so that he can be able to use your interest and use your money for collateral and as a way to somehow, some shape, form, or fashion, cause his name is on it. So he's entitled to it, dumbasses. Now you gotta think like you a crook. You can't think like you are a responsible individual who follows the law. You gotta think like a crook. Did y'all catch that K off in there? You gotta think like a crook. Scratch your throat with that K. You understand? Cause that's who trying to talk y'all out of some money. He's trying to duplicate the Rothschilds. Yeah, that's why he trying to shut down the Federal Reserve. He trying to shut all of these things down so it can be replaced with a Trump. I need for y'all to stay woke. And he know he almost out of time. He can't keep stalling these courts. Impeachment is coming. Midterms, elections coming. He know time ain't on his side, and once he can get it in there, it'll be there. Cause ain't nobody gonna shut it off. You would have to be a different kind of stupid to believe in it. There are some different types of stupids. I just need for us to stay woke. What was I gonna play earlier? It was something. Did it go away? Did I move it down here? What is this saying? Oh, and Ghislaine talking. She trying to. She snitching.
Tied.
Hold on, now she's
Daily
snitching.
Beast report says Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, filed a habeas petition with a sweeping claim from prison.
Hold on, let me
Maxwell
switch.
four
Let me
possible
switch people.
co-conspirators and 25.
Let me switch people. I'll be right back, President Obama. I'll be right back, sir. I don't want you on the background here. He has to stand in his own paint, in his own shit, in his own dirt. He got to stand, him and his homie and the friend that he was trying to move. See, all of their plans done kind of got nipped in the bud. Shout out to Sasha Riley, baby. Ooh, I know wherever you are, you stay good and hidden. You hear? You stay good and hidden. Yeah. She mad because the plan she had, she was supposed to be out, y'all. She was supposed to be out and moved and out of the country by now. But stuff doesn't happen. You understand? That was their plan when they sat down and talked and moved her into that minimum security. You know, they need to move her ass back. You know, let somebody put hand, feet, and toes on her like I heard they doing the straight drop up in there. The one who was one of the assassins in the ADOLPH case. They said they put hand, feet, toes, elbows, some of everything. Ooh, I hope they didn't use one of them tent stakes things. Ooh, Lord, they say he in critical condition. Yeah, she's scared that that's about to be where she on her way. Yeah, that's hear her.
A new Daily Beast report says Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, filed a habeas petition with a sweeping claim from prison. Maxwell says 4 possible co-conspirators and 25 men reached secret settlements tied to Epstein's abuse without any indictment.
25 men. 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Huh? Real justice happens. Okay, Lisa. Ooh wee. They saying about straight drop. And anyway, it's time to snatch her little dog away from her. All her little deals. She said it was 25. Is this the first time we heard this come from her? Huh? Oh, okay.
Co-conspirators and 25 men reached secret settlements tied to Epstein's abuse without any
So she do know more than what she was trying to act like she was saying when old boy was up in there talking to her to move her. 25. Reckon, what's his name? Jim Jordan them. The Jordans and the Biggs and lady, what about John Bonet? Did you grab John Bonet?
From prison. Maxwell says 4 possible co-conspirators and 25 men reached secret settlements tied to Epstein's abuse without any indictment. The report says Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Justice Department are dodging a key question: who these men are and why they're protected.
So they dodging on purpose. So it's Jim Jordan now, plus some. Is Eric Benet daddy on that list? Is Sasha Riley's daddy on that list? Huh? And y'all really want to even try to somewhat consider allowing him to say he finna give y'all a grand to have names and addresses and shit over your kids. So he's still pimping in a kind of way. He gonna have your kids' information. And if them names, when they run a search on you and they find that your what is the blood rights ain't from the US, then what? What you gonna do? And then they gonna deport you, and there go that $1,000. You gonna be like, well, where about my money in the Trump account? Auntie, for you laughing? I mean, y'all know that's what the folk gonna say. They gonna say I have money in an account through the government under Trump name. Where my money? Where my $1,000? Why you trick me again? Briggs, Jordan, Y'all think they not gonna run searches and do all type of shit with them social security numbers? Your kids' social security numbers? We talking about a man who don't have no regards for kids, not even his own. But let's hear this.
Prison. Maxwell says 4 possible co-conspirators and 25 men reached secret settlements tied to Epstein's abuse without any indictment. The report says Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Justice Department are dodging a key question: who these men are and why they're protected. It points to billionaire Leon Black, a Trump ally and former Apollo CEO who paid $62.5 million to settle Epstein-related claims in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Read the full story on rawstory.com.
There you go.
A new Daily Beast report says Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, filed a habeas petition with a sweeping claim from prison. Maxwell says 4 possible co-conspirators and 25 men reached secret settlements tied to Epstein's abuse without any indictment. The report says Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Justice Department are dodging a key question: who these men are and why they're protected. It points to billionaire Leon Black, a Trump ally and former Apollo CEO who paid $62.5 million to settle Epstein-related claims in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Read the full story on Raw.
Epstein. Let me get on back over here so I can get on back over there. Oh, we don't even want to talk about Wexner. I had him sit up to discuss him the other day, but y'all was playing with the like button, so hell, I thought I'd play with y'all. You know how Auntie Fee do. You play with me, I play with you, and we just gonna play together. Let's get back over here. Let's get to this retarded ass what's her name, Nicki Minaj, who her donation is really about don't deport me, Donald. Don't deport my family, because, I've been down with you.
Hardworking citizens. Their whole campaign was raised.
Y'all do know what this really is about. And I need somebody black up here for the black people, because black, hell, they done cracked away from me. Yeah.
On it.
Let's go.
Interest, they buy a car. That's going to have a huge impact on the automobile. By the way, there's one proviso. It has to be made in America. If the car is made in another country, no thank you. But they're all going to be made in America pretty soon, because we have factories coming in from Canada, Mexico, Japan, Germany, all over Europe. They're all coming here to make their cars because they don't want to pay tariffs. Very simple. It wasn't very complicated. You'll see those numbers starting to produce. That's why you see these massive construction numbers, and soon when those things start opening, you're going to see employment, and you're going to see wealth growth. Ed and Michael, would you say a couple of words? Only Indiana. You can't do bigger. We love Indiana, but how about Indiana, Iowa? No, we appreciate it. Big numbers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I
4
got
years
one
ago, we
picture.
set off on a journey to
I
reconnect
really
every
only
child
want
in
to see
America
Nicki
with the
Minaj
American
act a
dream.
fool.
This president
And baby,
ran
when
on
I
a
tell you I found a picture of
A
her,
couple of them I don't like very much, but if they're here, I'm starting to like them a lot better
if they're here.
because they're here for a very good reason. Akin, Arjun, thank you very much, wherever you are. Thank you. Anthony Noto of SoFi Technologies. SoFi.
Anthony
Thank you very
Noto.
much, Anthony. Right. These are the ones you read about, and Bill Ackman is here, Pershing Square, and Hock Tan of
When is
Broadcom.
Trump gonna stop
So many
lying?
others that if I name them, we'll be up here all day. But I just want to say that
Body looks
what a
sick in
job
the
you've
face.
all done. Incredible job, everybody. Just about everybody in this room. Not everybody. I'm not in love with everybody, but a couple of them I don't like very much. But if they're here, I'm starting to like them a lot better because they're here for a very good reason. I'm
Trump
officially
account, y'all,
calling on
please.
all employers all across America to follow the lead of many of these amazing companies and make matching Trump account contributions to benefit for the American worker, and they're going to benefit the American worker so much. This morning, I'm also pleased to announce that
Trump
Visa
account.
is creating a brand new platform which will allow credit card holders to deposit their cashback rewards directly into Trump accounts. That's a big deal. Visa, thank you. Where's Visa? The head of Visa. Thank you very much, Visa.
MasterCard, please
These
don't.
initiatives could not come at a better moment because
So Visa
there's
is
never
back
been
in
a better
Trump.
time to invest in the United States of America than right now. Who knew it would have happened this fast? I inherited a mess. Where are you, Craig and Heather? Come on up, Craig.
This into our children, really help us to buy diapers and formula and not have to worry about making financial decisions
y'all
for them
believe
this
this?
early on. So thank you very much, President Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lisa, the big, beautiful obituary. Let me get to Nicki Minaj. I can't. with
My
this
wife
one.
and I have spent the better part of our adult lives working to advance children in our community, and it was our faith that first led us to open our home to foster care. And it was God's plan that
I done passed her.
She's been with us all the way, right, Alex? She's been with us all the way.
Why you have to
Just
ask
wanna thank
Alex?
her.
Why you gotta ask Alex? You don't know?
And I said, I'm going to let my nails grow because I love those nails. I'm going to.
You boy, you know you don't like nothing sharp now.
Nicki, come on up. Come on.
Nicki Minaj.
She's been such a great. Nicki has been an unbelievable. I like that. But, you know, they didn't have the courage, so say hello to Bobby, okay? We're also pleased. My daughter, she went crazy when she heard that this was happening. I want to go. You know, she happens to be in the wrong state right now for that. But when she heard that there's a certain person that's here who's the greatest and most successful female rapper in history, Nicki Minaj. Come on. And, you know,
Nicki, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
and Nicki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell. Not quite. Not as much. But that's okay. But Nicki makes a lot of money, and she's generously stepping up. She's investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in Trump accounts to support the children and really the children of her incredible fans. That's great. Focus on that. Why should you give to somebody else's fans? Give to your fans. I like that. But and I just think she's great. You know, I've been hearing so much over the years because I didn't know Nicki, and I've been hearing over the years she's a big Trump supporter.
Oh, you don't know her, so you don't even know her. You had to hear through the grapevine. So while you acting like y'all big homie, like he your big homie, like I mean, so this is one of the, you know, they say he got like 6 or 7 disguises and body doubles and. What are they called? Reptilians and shit. So this is the one who didn't know you, Nicki. Nicki who? She been a fan. She got some money. She can invest. Oh, okay. Yeah. I heard I heard through the grapevine, that she's been, she has been following. She's a oh, okay, bring her ass up.
That's great. Focus on that. Why should you give to somebody else instead?
He don't even know you.
But and I just think she's great. You know, I've been hearing so much over the years because I didn't know Nicki, and I've been hearing over the years she's a big Trump supporter and a Trump fan, and she took a little heat on occasion. Her community isn't necessarily. I tell you, we did pretty damn well with that, with your community, as we say. But Nicki has been an unbelievable supporter. She gets almost as much as Mr. Wonderful over here. He's been another one that's been so good. But I'd like to ask you to come up, Nicki. Come on up. Come on. She's been such a great supporter, and a great supporter of Trump accounts. And I said, I'm going to let my nails grow because I love those nails. I'm gonna let those nails grow.
Wow.
She's so good. She's been MAGA. What can I say? She's been with us all the way, right, Alex? She's
right,
been
Alex?
with us all the way. Just want to thank
right,
her.
Alex?
And it wasn't so easy. For you, it was easier, right? You want to come up?
I don't know.
You want to come up? Mr. Wonderful, come on up here. You've been terrific. Come on up.
It's putting you in subscribers mode. I don't know what you're talking about. What? I don't know. What do you mean subscribers mode? I don't know if it's going to keep putting me in subscribers mode. Thank you, Janet. I don't.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Well.
MAGA. What can I say? She's been with us all the way, right, Alex? She's been with us
Why
all
you
the
have
way.
to ask
Just want to
somebody?
thank her.
I heard he slapped
And it wasn't so
her
easy.
ass.
For you,
Oh,
it was easier,
wow.
right? You want to come up?
I heard.
You want
I
to
got.
come up? Mr. Wonderful, come on up here. You've been terrific. Come on up.
Oh, I heard. I gotta find a picture where she looking like he is stinky as hell.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan.
Oh wow.
And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does
She
not
did make
affect
that
me
face,
at
didn't she?
all. It
She
actually
did make that
motivates me to
face, didn't
support
she?
him. Well,
I don't know what to say.
but I will say.
I smelled that shit. God damn. What was that? Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind
crazy
him.
as hell.
And God is
What God?
him.
They say you a Zionist. Look at him behind. What happened? Did they put her ass off? What happened? Did she start smelling it? What just happened? Bully, what just happened though?
Going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him.
She said God. She got, what God? Look.
Amen.
That was so what? I need to, did y'all catch that? Hell, he didn't even hear nothing she said. But he heard God, she full of beep. That's what she's smelling, Barbara.
He has a lot of force behind him, and God is...
what force? A bag full of beep? I mean, what force are we talking about? A force of people? What just happened? Is somebody... Y'all... Okay. Is he sick again? It look like his mouth just went up there. And then she's, what is this? Is she saying? Is she saying, oh my God, what is that smell? What is happening, y'all? I gotta add her back. Trump said, girl, I told you. Didn't I tell? What is this look? Something happened. What happened right here? It just kind of looked like it kind of a change happened. I don't know if it was the God. I don't know, but I know his mouth looked like it done went crooked up there since he been standing there. But what happened?
Get away with bullying him and, you know, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has...
Okay, I need for y'all to, let me take the back down. I need for us to be able to understand what it is that he said to her. Oh my goodness. Let's go.
A lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
Oh, he said, oh, that was so nice, thank you. And then she said, should I go? No goodbye hug. No little rub, a hug for the road. What did...
You know, the smear campaigns, it's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
I can't take it. I can't. Y'all do know that's that look, right? Y'all do know that's that look, right? That whole area up there got a stench. Hey, Cynthia, that whole area got a stench. And she's saying...
Force behind him.
Should I go?
God
I gotta go.
Is protecting him. Amen.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because We create 72% of the jobs. Companies
He's telling her to stay right here. She trying to go.
All we care about
She knows she
is
done lost the
policy.
hood, y'all.
We love policy, pro-business policy, and these accounts are fantastic for independence and support. I thank you very much. It's all about the entrepreneur, and I think you know that, sir.
Smell your hand. Smell your hand.
Well, that was
Wow.
great.
Her eyes was warm. She's trying to hold her breath. Oh my God. Now, what is her relationship with this guy? Nikita.
I thank you
She like, Lord.
very much.
Oh, Lord. Oh. You can only hold your breath. She was trying to leave, and he said, nah, you stay right here. Girl, he gonna invite you.
On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because we create 72% of the jobs. Companies 5 to 500 employees, and all we care about is policy.
Yeah, she's smelling that. I do know she just tried to take a little. She was. I'm trying to catch it.
All the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because we create 72% of
The face. Nicki saying, Lord, I didn't come. Y'all just asked me to come show my face. How am I? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna move on past this, but this shit right here is fun. T. She was trying to get away. Gotta go, get away. And he said, no. Oh, he said, just stay right there.
On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President.
Did he just try to hook up, do a little hookup? Come stand right here next to me. And she looking like, oh my God. Why I'm laughing? Oh my God. What is that? What in the fuck is that? Nicki, see, this is what happens. This is what happens. Yeah, when you go against the people.
We create.
Oh, I wish I could get it better. Oh my God. I want
72%.
Nikita Alizé. I know you. Oh, did I catch her mouth? Did I catch her mouth like?
On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because we create 72% of the jobs. Companies 5 to 500 employees, and all we care about is policy. We love policy, pro-business policy, and these accounts are fantastic for independence and support. I thank you very much. It's all about the entrepreneur, and I think you know that, sir.
Lord heaven, please. Oh my God.
Well, that was great. A little interlude. I don't know. That's better than getting Scott Bessent up. Two terrific people.
Wow. Yeah, that was some kissing. I don't think she will ever forget. Y'all hit the like button. I know it's not many people in here. I'm having issues with my system. I've tried to get it fixed today. It's just that DNS server. Something is not connecting, not recognizing. Something is going on. I got to get with HP, but I wasn't feeling good. So hit the like button for me, please. I would greatly appreciate it. DNS server not responding is what it said. So it is what it is. Let me see what else I got. After that, man, I just was not expecting. I don't know what Nicki Minaj was thinking, though. Do we trust Donald Trump? Do y'all trust him to put y'all money into an account? Wait for it to grow for 28 years with stipulations, criterias that only going to benefit, and then once they find a reason to deport you, your money is forfeited. I mean, I can tell you how this shit is going to go without even reading. Hold on. And then to think, how dare you say you want to do something for the kids and you have been accused for messing with them. Ain't that some shit? Hold on. I'm going to get to this Les Wexner before I forget to chime into that. Let me see what else I had before I go over there. Hold on. That was funny. I think she smelled something. I think she smelled something in the, hold on. Hold on. Free 1,000K. Hold on. Let's hear this. Free 1,000K.
Everything. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna need to talk to the chef. Send in the chef.
We want to talk about tomorrow. President Trump will be doing another big cabinet meeting. We'll be taking a lot of questions like he normally does. But the White House did say today that he will be talking a little bit more about what is being called the Trump accounts for babies that were born from 2025 to 2028. Think of it as an IRA for babies with a one-time $1,000 deposit from Uncle Sam. We want to learn a little bit more about the program here and go out to USA Today's Daniel DeVise. Thanks so much, Daniel, for joining us. You wrote an article about this, and we're getting closer to learning a little bit more information tomorrow, but I think a lot of new families are going to be paying attention.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's hard to imagine anybody would turn down $1,000 for your baby from the government. So I think it's likely to be a pretty popular program.
Yeah, no doubt. And so not only will it be the one-time deposit, but family members can, throughout the years, continue to contribute, correct?
Yeah, you can think of it, again, you used the right term, like an IRA for children. You get seed money of $1,000 from the government if you're born between 2025 and 2028. And then your parents or guardians or other loved ones, an uncle, an aunt, could contribute up to $5,000 a year, per year, into these accounts until the child turns 18. Now, think about compounding. That could become an enormous sum of money if your loved ones contribute that much. An employer, which I guess would be the parents' employers, could contribute toward that cap. And then state and even local governments and charities, if they do it broadly, would also be allowed. So you could imagine like the Cook Foundation in Cook County, Chicago or something could make a contribution to say every Chicago public school kid or something. I think something like that would work. So you can imagine it ballooning into quite a sum by the time that the person reaches adulthood.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And will the parents be able to pick? I mean, will there be a number of options for mutual funds, or how will they go about it once they select what they want?
Yeah, not all the details have been announced. I guess that's the point. We're going to hear more about this. But what I'm told, what I've reported, is that it has to be some sort of mutual fund, an index fund. So you could index the S&P 500, you could index the NASDAQ or something. But the government doesn't want these funds to be like in one stock or in crypto or something. It's got to be in a broad index fund. And mind you, certified financial planners would advise people generally, unless they are specialists, to invest that way anyway, because generally speaking, these big, broad index funds do as well as the pros, if not better.
Yeah, that is true. And I think it'll not only showcase, obviously, the newborn that'll, when they turn 18, they'll say, oh, wow, okay, we got this account here, but maybe also show others about the power of investing and really the power of compound interest.
Yeah, this is linked to an initiative for financial education. I used to cover K-12 education for years, and I didn't take a class on financial literacy when I was in high school or college. There's a national initiative now, and that's tied into this effort, where more and more states are requiring some sort of financial education. So the idea would be that, 18 years from now, a kid gets out of high school and they have some knowledge about checkbook math and about investing. And then they've got this seed money, which even if it's just $1,000, that could grow into an enormous sum in like 20 years. That's a very powerful tool. So the idea is for people to sort of participate in our capitalist system. And I don't know what that sounds like, but that is our system. And the idea is to get kids to understand it and learn it, and to participate in this wealth building mechanism, which has been incredibly, it's paid off enormously to anybody who's owned stocks over the last 10 years, just about.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Daniel, have we seen this? I mean, why is this being implemented now? Have we tried to see this in the past, but it never really got traction? Or is this something new from the Trump administration that they wanted to really implement?
Yeah, I'm not a political writer. I do personal finance. But my understanding is that this is part of the one big, beautiful bill. It was incorporated into it, I think, with pretty broad support. And what I mean by that is I understand that both Republicans and Democrats in the past have liked this idea and have wanted something like this to happen. But it was swept into this huge tax and spending bill. And I don't think you're going to find a whole lot of people in Congress who are going to oppose it. Now, people have different ideas about how it should be done. And I've read critical comments from one person or another. But I think the idea of giving seed money to people of all different incomes has been very popular in the past.
Yeah, and we'll hope to learn a lot more information tomorrow.
Y'all believe it yet?
What I love to keep in my locker is my Old Spice.
Y'all believe it yet?
Scent of palm tree and coconut and.
To show up here to terrorize our community. Somali businesses housed here.
Yeah, just let me know when y'all starting believing them.
to highlight our incredible Somali businesses housed here. We have an extraordinary entrepreneurs who have built amazing businesses. Carmel holds a special place in my heart, and I look forward to visiting every time I'm home. This is one of the places I recommend to visitors who come into our town because it showcases our vibrant Somali community. Carmel Mall is home to more than 100 small businesses, and the owners here have seen a significant decline in business since Trump's Operation Metro Surge began. Community members are afraid to go out as a result of the occupation in our city by ICE. Not only is the federal occupation hurting businesses, the president's reprehensible rhetoric has led right-wing grifters to show up here to terrorize our community. It is indefensible. Hurting small businesses is just the tip of the iceberg. Under the Trump administration's so-called Operation Metro Surge, constitutional rights are being crumpled, families are being ripped apart, and fear is being weaponized to try to beat us into submission.
Right?
Federal immigration agents are terrorizing our neighbors, stopping people of color, demanding papers, detaining U.S. citizens, and brutalizing Minnesotans in the name of public safety. But we know this is not about public safety or immigration enforcement. It is state-sanctioned violence and political retribution. What is unfolding in our state is not accidental. It is part of a coordinated effort to target Black and brown immigrant and Muslim communities through fear, racial profiling, and intimidation. This administration's immigration agenda is not about law enforcement. It is about making people feel they do not belong regardless of their citizen status or the law. But our communities shall not and will not be intimidated. In the face of violence, Minnesotans have organized, protected one another, and showed love instead of fear. Two incredible Minnesotans, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, were murdered for their willingness to stand up and protect their neighbors. Now our community is reeling from their murder that were entirely avoidable. No immigration enforcement agent should ever be allowed to act as a judge, jury, and executioner on our streets. That's right. We will continue to demand real accountability. I am grateful to my colleagues who have shown immense moral clarity in this moment. I will end with this. We must all do more. Everyone here understands that. Voting no on DHS funding bill is the bare minimum. Backing the resolution to impeach Kristi Noem is the bare minimum. Holding law-breaking ICE agents legally accountable is the bare minimum. We must abolish ICE. This moment demands it.
It's KKK.
Next, I want to introduce my dear friend and colleague, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley.
Thank you, Ilha. Earlier today, we visited the sacred space where Alex Pressley was executed in broad daylight. An unarmed citizen whose last words were, "Don't hurt her." One of the many tributes that was at that memorial invoked a scripture that I love as a woman of faith, and it's Isaiah chapter 1, verse 17. Do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. And that is what brings me here today. Do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. I'm here as a sister in solidarity. with Congresswoman Omar. I'm so grateful for her courageous and steadfast leadership. I'm here in solidarity with Movement Family, who I have been here many times shoulder to shoulder doing justice work alongside. I am here to bear witness. I'm here to listen. And I'm here to help people process their grief and their trauma. You know, we all understand that elections have consequences. But for the life of me, what I cannot understand is that when someone has a House, a Senate majority, has the White House, and accomplices in the Supreme Court, why, when you have all of that power, you would use it to enact harm on every person who calls this country home? We have an occupant in the Oval Office who traffics in hate, is hell-bent on inflicting hurt and harm and trauma on
Did she say traffic? What?
But for the life of me, what I cannot understand is that when someone has a House, a Senate majority, has the White House, and accomplices in the Supreme Court, why, when you have all of that power, you would use it to enact harm on every person who calls this country home? We have an occupant in the Oval Office who traffics in hate, is hell-bent on inflicting hurt and harm and trauma on
traffics in hate.
This country home, with a laser focus on our most vulnerable. He has governed with malice and used ICE agents to terrorize our cities.
KKK.
Operating with impunity.
Thank you.
Rogue masked agents who violate people's rights in the name of so-called law and order. Yet they detain
Majority of Somalia voted. They did.
Cold blood.
They learned a hard lesson.
To be clear, none of it has kept anyone safe because it has nothing to do with public safety. Not in Minnesota, not in Massachusetts. It has everything to do with power, with control, with intimidation and oppression. Earlier today, I met immigrants who make this country great, who make this state great, who fled authoritarian regimes in Colombia, Venezuela, Syria, and Nicaragua. They came here for a better life and to make positive contributions, which they do. And they are so traumatized to be seeing in real time the very authoritarian, fascist, and cruel actions that they fled showing up here in Minnesota and in this country. All this has done is traumatize children, delay cancer patients' chemotherapy, devastate small businesses, and leave beloved community members like Renee Good and Alex Preddy dead on our streets. The last time I was here at Carmel Mall, we broke bread together amongst bustling shoppers. It was vibrant, and we laughed over sambusas and drank Somali tea together. Today, it is quiet. Today it is quiet. It is quiet because of fear. When we were at Midtown Global Market earlier today, what is it, Lakeside? We learned that Lake Street, home to some 2,000 businesses, majority of which are owned by immigrants, that they are losing $30 million a month. Those are the sort of contributions that immigrants have been making to this economy. I don't know what to do about that. Okay. All right, that's okay. So the point is, this is devastating families and devastating the economy here. That's why we're here today, to stand in community, to choose community over chaos and cruelty. We're here because although there could never be justice, because true justice would mean that Renee Good and Alex Preddy and Keith Porter would still be alive. I'm not sure, guys, what to do here. But there must be accountability.
Use the mic.
Okay.
Talk without the
Yeah, no, they having mic problems. But that's okay. We got the message. We getting the message. We're definitely getting the message. Hold on.
Women over 40, you need this in your makeup bag. The Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara will seriously...
Now serving a criminal search warrant.
And who's the defendant?
And the criminal search warrant is now serving a criminal search warrant.
And who's the defendant?
And the criminal search warrant is under seal.
Right.
So we don't even know who the target of the investigation is.
So FBI criminal warrant on Fulton County
of distrust.
2020 ballots.
This is a full frontal attack on democracy.
Here go Trump
this
again.
This is a code red in America, in Fulton County. We've seen it in Minneapolis, and now we're seeing it here in Fulton County. We must do everything that we can to protect the right to vote. These records are under seal. Judge McBurney has not issued an order opening these records or allowing these records to be viewed by the government. And until and unless he enters such an order, these records should not be seen or viewed by anyone. And so we're thankful to have our partners here from the state standing with us, because this again is a full frontal attack on democracy.
I just tried to.
You know what? I mean, let me just say that. Let me just say that we are going to, you know, if there's a question of are we going to take all legal action to make sure that
without a warrant,
what I consider to be an assault on voters. This is an assault on your vote.
I used to love my Prada glasses like that.
I think that, you know, Marvin is an attorney. I'm an attorney. We are all trying to figure out what to do about this. But what we know,
Fannie Willis, y'all, I can bet you.
Standing with us, because this again, right?
I bet you it's Fannie.
This is a full frontal attack on democracy. This is a code red in America, in Fulton County. We've seen it in.
Y'all want who y'all bet?
Search warrant is under seal.
Right.
So we don't even know who the target of the investigation is. This is nothing but sowing the seeds of distrust, right? This is a full frontal attack on democracy. This is a code red in America, in Fulton County. We've seen it in Minneapolis, and now we're seeing it here in Fulton County. We must do everything that we can to protect the right to vote. These records are under seal. Judge McBurney has not issued an order opening these records or allowing these records to be viewed by the government. And until and unless he enters such an order, these records should not be seen or viewed by anyone. And so we're thankful to have our partners here from the state standing with us, because this again is a full frontal attack on democracy. And
you know what? I mean, let me just say that. Let me just say that we are going to. You know, if there's a question of are we going to take all legal action to make sure that, you know, this, what I consider to be an assault on voters. This is an assault on your vote. So I think that, you know, Marvin is an attorney. I'm an attorney. We are all trying to figure out what to do about this. But what we know is that that does not even matter. We know in America right now, it does not even matter. if what you are saying is the right thing. If our president wants to bring in the forces, he will, and he has. And so it's in Fulton County now. So we have to protect. You need to go to your voter page, make sure that you are still registered to vote. You need to check every week. You need to be unafraid of these scare tactics, and you need to go out there and vote. Because what they're mostly afraid of is that you will vote them out. That is what they are afraid of. Because midterm elections are going to be a course correction in this country, and they know it. And that's what they're afraid of. So we will not be deterred. We will work together in Fulton County. We will work together with our state partners, and we will move forward, and we will be here protecting your right to vote in Fulton County. Fulton County is a majority Democratic county. So don't be confused as to why this is happening in Fulton County. It's very easy. Follow it. This is not difficult. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, this is something that's so above my heads. It's not above your heads. You need to understand it as the people. You have the power to change this. And you know that this election in 2026 is going to be in your hands. So let's protect it.
Why do you think this is happening right now?
I mean, because it's never too early to start.
Blue wave.
It's retribution. He is enacting retribution. He's enacting retribution on Fulton County, Minnesota, on places that did not vote for him.
Why isn't he asking for the 2024 ballots?
Explain again the difference.
How about the 2024 ballots? Do they want those, or there were no issues in 2024?
They couldn't get the ballots, so now this is a criminal offense, but there's no named defendant.
That's right.
Yeah, so there is a civil lawsuit going on where they were seeking the exact same records. They sent a subpoena. It was denied because of the existing court order that put those records under seal, put these voting records under seal, and they couldn't get it then. They sent a subpoena. They've done it like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And so since they could not get it the proper way legally through civil action, now miraculously there is a criminal action with an unnamed defendant. Who's the unnamed defendant? What is this about? Well, if it was criminal, why didn't they file the criminal search warrant prior to getting denied 2 times in the civil court?
Does a criminal search warrant, when it is served, supposed to be unsealed?
I do not know. I think a judge needs to answer that question, and I have asked the county attorney, and Commissioner Ivory has asked the county attorney to file whatever we can file in order to stop this madness.
Are you hearing about other raids happening in other counties?
No, I heard they're going to try to, the FBI is supposed to be doing a press conference here at 6 o'clock.
Scoot over so we can bring Shay and Erica.
Yes.
It's a big...
Yes, I think it's very important to bring our clerk of Superior Court, Madam Shay Alexander, who's been dealing with this all day because the records are under her chain of custody.
Madam Clerk, can you talk about what it was like to see these agents?
Not at this time. I can't.
Can you tell us?
I'm still processing it. I came out to go to the store to get some water and saw my colleagues and wanted to say hi. I'm just trying to get my staff some water right now. That's all I can do.
Line right now, clerk.
I don't know what's going on.
So I'll say this: the first warrant was to the elections hub, which was incorrect, and so that had to be sent back, and they had to get a new warrant directed to the clerk of Superior Court, Madam Shay, because she is the holder of the archives from the elections. And so apparently they have now done that. They're now going in there. My question is, I want to make sure that there is a full and complete inventory, because these are the original voting records, original absentee ballots, right? And so once that stuff leaves our custody, where is the chain of custody? Once it leaves our control, how can we know if we're going to get everything back? How can we know if they might do something?
We won't. We
won't, and we don't know.
They're taking pallets. We're not doing any inventory. We don't even know what they're taking.
The ballots are on pallets because they trying hard, y'all. Runs great elections, and elections from 2020 would already be archived, sealed, put in boxes, put on pallets, and secured. They wouldn't just be boxes floating around, allowed to be accessed. So they already are on pallets, and they're removing the whole pallets. So how can we then inventory what they're taking? You can only see what is happening on the outside of the pallet. You would not be able to see on the inside what the boxes are on the pallets. This is intentional.
Going in and out of the building all afternoon. Have the ballots actually left the building?
Yeah, they're leaving the building right now.
What did the warrant say?
The warrant said all the 2020 ballots, absentee ballots. No, they said what they were coming here to get, and they're getting it.
How does this search warrant supersede the seal? That's the part I think we're not understanding.
Because it's criminal versus civil. The seal is a civil case. They came and brought a criminal case, so that is why it's not connected. And that's what the lawyers are working on right now. What do we do next? And we have there's a band of lawyers right here working on it all.
Trying to figure it out.
It's intentional for people to be in office who have the skills to deal with these things.
So they came wrong.
All of us are trying to come together to figure out what to do next. There's a band of people
came with a criminal warrant.
We're under assault. I mean, I think that we have there's a band of lawyers right here working on it all. It's not.
How does this search warrant supersede the seal? That's the part I think we're not understanding.
Because it's criminal versus civil. The seal is a civil case. They came and brought a criminal case, so that is why it's not connected. And that's what the lawyers are working on right now. What do we do next? And we have there's a band of lawyers right here.
So the seal was civil, but they came with a criminal.
They came and brought a criminal case, so that is why it's not connected. And that's what the lawyers are working on.
Supersede the seal. That's the part I think we're not understanding.
Because it's criminal versus civil. The seal is a civil case. They came and brought a criminal case, so that is why it's not connected. And that's what the lawyers are working on right now. What do we do next? And we have there's a band of lawyers right here working on it all. It's intentional for people to be in office who have the skills to deal with these things. And all of us are trying to come
everybody
together to
who
figure out
are
what to do next.
legitimate lawyers don't know what to do because they come in
we're under
incorrect.
assault. I mean, I think you know that.
Is this unprecedented?
Of course it's
Absolutely.
He's unprecedented.
What the?
Right? It is. How confident are we? It is. We just had a town hall last week on Thursday about elections. We knew this was going to happen. This is about sowing the seed of fear that people will not show up to the polls in May and November. This is what it is. We're 100% sure this is what it is.
Do any of our state reps want to say anything? Certainly, we're glad to have you all speak.
I asked Representative Draper as our resident voting rights expert to talk about where we are.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Syra Draper. I'm the State House Representative for House District 90. Ever since 2020, there is a man who cannot get over the fact that he lost here in Georgia. He simply cannot get over it. And now, in a vindictive nature, he's coming after us. Now, since 2020, there have been many attempts to get at the documents of Fulton County and to undermine the confidence in what Fulton County has done. But there have been audits after audits. There have been court cases filed here in Fulton County to find out what has gone on. There has been an independent investigation through the SEB that absolved Fulton County of any kind of misconduct or systemic voter fraud, right? That simply has not happened here. I would tell you if this administration had a genuine interest in getting to voter fraud, they should be investigating Coffee County, where we have actual
Can y'all please hit the like button for me?
People going into the election office after hour and copying election documents. But there's not an interest in going to Coffee County, which is a red county. Fulton County is being targeted because it is the largest county in Georgia and it is the home of Atlanta.
That's right.
So going into the election office after hour and copying election documents. But there's not an interest in going to Coffee County, which is a red county. Fulton County is being targeted because it is the largest county in Georgia and it is the home of Atlanta.
That's right.
So this does not pass the smell test, obviously. They have failed at every juncture to be able to get these documents. And so they have now found this loophole to try and get to it. But I will tell you that we are not done. We are going to continue to stay. And I agree with everything Commissioner Ivory said, that the best thing that you can do as a Georgia citizen is get to the polls and cast your ballot, because they wouldn't be trying so hard to stop you from voting if they weren't worried about what the impact would be.
Absolutely.
Anybody else like to?
All right, thank you, everybody.
Can we clarify once again just when and why the ballots were placed under seal? Just for clarification.
I think that's the normal process. Yeah. That is the normal process. I think Commissioner Barrett has joined us. Certainly, if you want to say something, Commissioner Barrett, the normal process is for those records to be under seal.
Yeah, they aren't just for people to be able to come and review, right? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm also just coming out after talking to all of our experts. I mean, obviously, we're doing everything that we must legally, but I agree with my colleagues. We are all absolutely going to stand up and make sure that Fulton County voters get to cast their vote in the 2026 election and the 2028 election. There is no excuse for the state elections board to take over our elections. As I said earlier today, this is political theater. It is a distraction from the actions that are, of ICE in Minnesota, killing people, the threats of Pam Bondi to not leave Minnesota if they don't turn over their voter rolls. I mean, this is the kind of things that are happening. So, this is just unacceptable, and we are following the law, but we will defend Fulton County votes at all costs.
Has anything been filed that will keep the papers here? A stay, filed to the judge, so we can try to get a stay, anything where these documents cannot leave here? Because we do know how important it is.
Yeah.
These are
not yet. We've asked the attorney to take the appropriate action, and she is investigating to see what can be filed and under what circumstances it can be filed. But certainly we don't want to get in the way of a criminal investigation. But it's a criminal investigation to nowhere.
Yeah, and I will only add that I know our county attorneys are talking to some of the top criminal attorneys that are in town and know how to handle these cases. So we're getting advice from the best.
Yeah.
One more thing. I do think this is a pretext for trying to take over Fulton County elections. The Georgia legislature with SB 202 passed a provision that the state could overtake specific counties if certain circumstances were met. They attempted to do that with Fulton County, but the independent report recommended that the state not take over Fulton County elections. So they tried to do this, they failed, and now they're going for another bite at the apple. So that is a very real risk when the Republican-run Georgia state government tries to overtake what's happening in Fulton County and what's happening with Fulton voters who have elected their representatives to run their elections.
Yeah, there are multiple things going on in Fulton. There are multiple things going on in Fulton County right now that we are battling. So this is just one of many. I think you'll see the attack on Fulton get even deeper as we get closer and closer, and as the elections begin to play themselves out. So I think this is to be continued. Certainly not just what's happening today.
I think it's also worth noting that the 2024 election, nobody's questioning that.
Yeah, right.
The 2024 election in Fulton County went perfectly. You know who won? You wonder why? That's why. So we know our elections are run smoothly here. No matter what they take out here, we already know what they're going to say about what they take. It's not going to be the truth. It's going to be that Fulton County did something wrong. Heaven forbid they put more of our election workers at risk with this new investigation.
And frankly, the 2020 election is a moot point. The 2020 election is moot. The election is over. The man has already been elected again. So why were we looking at anything with 2020? Why does it matter?
To militarize our elections and to scare people to going to the polls. That's why. That is the only reason. This is not meant to be able to put him, give him something that he can get back. That election is way over. This is to make you fearful of moving forward. And we know that he does that really well, but we're not going to fall for it. And so we're going to move forward doing what Fulton County always does, runs fair and free and accurate elections. And that's what we do.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Diagnosed with Crohn's disease and struggling with your symptoms? It's not too soon to talk to your doctor about Entyvio for moderate to severe Crohn's and learn about the results.
All right, just listening in there to that out of Fulton County, Georgia. And of course, this is a bombshell breaking news event taking place in Fulton County, Georgia, the largest county there in the Peach State, as this search warrant, according to the Fulton County Commissioner Mo Ivory, relating to the 2020 election, as this search warrant for all ballots relating to that election some 6 years ago. We're still watching this unfold in real time, high atop, courtesy of some aerials, as they were talking about just the magnitude, the breadth of this investigation, this search warrant, as they said.
Hold on, they carrying us
were on pallets, just the search warrant for all ballots relating to that election some 6 years ago. We're still watching this unfold in real time, high atop, courtesy of some aerials, as they were talking about just the magnitude, the breadth of this investigation, this search warrant. As they said, these ballots were on pallets, just the amount of people that voted in that election that they're trying to seize. They are concerned that once they leave the facility, they won't have an inventory of them. They don't know exactly potentially where they will go. Also talked a little bit about the exact search warrant. Said they came
and watch them say they found something wrong.
Search warrant, but they were turned away because the ballots were in the archive, so they had to go back, get a proper search warrant, and then return. So you're just looking at some of these scenes high atop and just the kind of warehouse, the trucks that are needed to move this amount of paper with hundreds of thousands of people voting in the 2020 election. Of course, the FBI on Wednesday searched the election office central to the right-wing conspiracy theories over President Donald Trump's 2020 election loss, just 1 week after the Republican leader predicted prosecutions over a contest he basically insisted was tainted by widespread fraud. So you can see their police also on hand for this. Let's quickly take you back out here on Live Now from Fox to our Fox 5 team as they are breaking it all down with some context from Georgia.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Y'all hit the like button. Shouldn't have to keep asking y'all to do that. But hey, Auntie, what's up? They have a warrant for somebody for the files. It says an FBI criminal warrant in Fulton County over the 2020 election. Is the ballot? Yeah, ballots. So they came in all geared up, taking ballots, walking out ballots. Now how it's
unfold in real time, high atop, courtesy of some aerials, as they were talking about the magnitude, the breadth of this investigation, this search warrant. As they said, these ballots were on pallets, just the amount of people that voted in that election that they're trying to seize. They are concerned that once they leave the facility, they won't have an inventory of them. They don't know exactly potentially where they will go.
But they can't produce the Epstein files.
Search warrants, and they came for the election hub for a search warrant, but they were turned away because the ballots were in the archive, so they had to go back, get a proper search warrant, and then return. So you're just looking at some of these scenes high atop and just the kind of warehouse, the trucks that are needed to move this amount of paper with hundreds of thousands of people voting in the 2020 election. Of course, the FBI on Wednesday searched the election office central to the right-wing conspiracy theories over President Donald Trump's 2020 election loss, just 1 week after the Republican leader predicted prosecutions over a contest he basically insisted was tainted by widespread fraud. So you can see their police also on hand for this. Let's quickly take you back out here on Live Now from Fox to our Fox 5 team as they are breaking it all down with some context from Georgia.
Those papers in the back with Jeffrey. Oh yeah. we can't get that, can we? We can't get that, can we? Ooh. Hey, y'all, take a minute, please. Hi, Marsha. Hi, Marsha. What it do? What it do? Oh, let me put a... We're gonna move right on. Y'all remember, in her dumbass. Her dumbass. Her dumbass, all she did was gave a donation, a funky little, what is that smell, little comment, and paid off so that he won't be deporting her and her family, her uncle, brother, cousin, dad, or back to wherever they from. She lost it. Tired of her. Oh, yeah, she lost it. She absolutely lost it. I want us to start going back an hour and 39 minutes. I don't know. Raid, backlash. Oh, hold on. Hold on. They did say 6, didn't they? Hit the like button, y'all.
We're Maurice's, and we're here to give you that styled feel.
Backlash. Let's hear this. Oh my.
We are following that big story back here at home at the Fulton County Elections Office in Fairburn as the FBI. And we are following that big story back here at home at the Fulton County Elections Office in Fairburn as the FBI is serving a search warrant and a raid there. We're going to get out to one of our cameras here and listen in together. I believe this is a live news conference, and we'll get you the name and who they're talking with as well. Let's listen in together, and then we'll come right back.
Now, what's weird about this is that I've heard rumors that the warrant that was originally, again, signed or not, I have not seen the warrant, so I can't tell you standing here if it's even a valid warrant. But apparently those 700 boxes of ballots, they didn't have a warrant that quite covered what they wanted. So what they're having to do now is try to amend the warrant somehow. But their full intention is to take 700 boxes of ballots away from the 2020 election. The reason I know that is because there are 2 state election board members from Georgia in there, Jan and Sally, who have participated in election denial and conspiracy theories themselves, to be very clear. And Jan was on the phone and she said in front of me, they should take all 700 boxes away. So that is the clear intention of the people who are trying to grab these ballots to pursue conspiracy theories, is to grab as many ballots as possible. I've also heard from Fulton officials that there is no protection for chain of custody. There is no assurance that chain of custody is being preserved. That's so important because if they are able to modify the contents of these boxes, when I say they, I mean the Trump administration, then there's really no way of knowing what did happen in 2020. I mean, look what's happening with the Epstein files, right? There's a real question as to whether those files are actually preserved in the condition that they were originally in. There's a real question as to whether the Epstein files are being modified so that Trump can get off scot-free. Same thing could be happening here for all we know. That's why chain of custody is so important. And it's not being preserved as far as I'm aware right now. So again, we keep seeing FBI, ERT teams go in and out. We hear the FBI director might be on his way, but what we know is that there is an intention here by the FBI coming from DC to grab 700 boxes of 2020 ballots from Fulton County in pursuit of Donald Trump's conspiracy theories.
Why do you think this is happening like right now?
I wasn't able to get an official explanation. I took a video of a couple of the ERT team members. I tried to ask them what they were getting, what they were there for. They could not tell me. They said they tried to refer me to a public relations officer. What did you say?
Why do you think this is happening right now, State Senator?
Well, I think it's happening. I said this a minute ago because of this weekend. You know, Donald Trump is an illusion artist and he's an entertainer. And when things go bad for him, he tries to change this.
He's a what?
Well, I think it's happening. I said this a minute ago because of this weekend. You know, Donald Trump is an illusion artist and he's an entertainer. And when things go bad for him, he tries to change the subject. So this weekend, we saw the entire country in uproar about the violation of Alex Preddy's Second Amendment and First Amendment rights. That has created a huge political problem for Donald Trump. And so it's no surprise to me that the very next week, while we're still talking about that loss, while we're still talking about an uproar about the violation of Alex Preddy's Second Amendment and First Amendment rights. That has created a huge political problem for Donald Trump. And so it's no surprise to me that the very next week, while we're still talking about that loss, while we're still talking about ICE and Border Patrol overreach, that he swoops in with the FBI to create this spectacle here in Fulton County, which again is his favorite punching bag. I mean, it's ridiculous. We have been dealing with this in Fulton County now for 6 years. Donald Trump constantly interfering, threatening election workers, threatening the integrity of our state-run elections. It's bananas, and it's all to serve his narcissistic ego because he can't admit that he lost the election in 2020. That's not even the last presidential election. That's the one before this one, the past one. So it's just ridiculous that we got elected officials standing here. I'm here with State Representative Willis, State Representative Glaze. We've got Senator Rashawn Kemp. We are all here having to deal with this on a day when we should be doing committee meetings and legislative session because Donald Trump has decided that now's the time to change the subject.
He do it release the Epstein files. He do it all the time.
Okay, so we have been listening in together, and that is
Speak up,
Senator,
you're right.
Rashawn, and I can't remember his last name to the right of him, but the one we just heard from was State Representative Josh McLaurin. He's a Democrat from Sandy Springs. As to what he believes is happening inside, I've been taking notes together. As you can tell, he's very fired up about this. He says that he believes that they've been there to take 700 ballots away related to the 2020 2020 election. And again, our photographer is zooming in. Senator District 14, Josh McLaurin there. He says that, again, he believes that this is a distraction that he claims President Donald Trump wants after last weekend that we just talked about in Minneapolis and Minnesota with Alex Preddy and the death there happening with ICE officials. And you can see that news conference going in as well. Those are other, just kind of pointing out, standing to the right, you can see those name badges there. He was just elected into the state Senate. And then I believe the woman with the glasses also is with the state Senate as well there. So our photographer and our reporter there on the scene will continue to follow this story as they come available. As you can see, more people. Our Deidre Dukes kind of gave us a heads up. She's been at the Capitol when this news broke. She said they've been very fired up, and a lot of them were heading here to the scene in Fairburn. And as we see, a lot of them, Rashawn Kemp is his name that I was just referring to, and I believe he was just voted in this time around. But again, we are going to continue to follow this story. We know it's been a lot in this past 30 minutes. Let's take a break to kind of reset.
It's a lot going on. Real quick. Hold on. Pay attention. You better pay attention. Hold on. Yeah, y'all, Ray J. Y'all believe that about Ray J? They play too much sometimes. This is what happens when you play or you allow the marketing, to consume and control you. You never know when it's a gimmick or if it's real. So some stuff I don't even want to touch because I don't know if it's real. You know what I mean? But hold on. And I don't know if it's real. If something is wrong with his heart or not. Hold on. Do y'all remember that show? Chicago PD, I think. Wasn't that the name of the show? Where they would go out into the city. So like it was one black guy. Hold on. I think it was Chicago PD. Don't that man look like that man on Chicago PD? Barrino or whatever his name is. Nah, I can't find it. That was over Minnesota. The leader, the director. Don't he look like this man? Why I can't find his picture now? I got a lot of good stuff back here. Hold on. Texas. Just so you know. That man in that wheelchair done gave Trump y'all ballot information. I can't find it for nothing. You can't ever find stuff when you need it, can you? Can. Hold on. Retired Border Patrol agent arrested for being the East Valley serial apist in Arizona. Have y'all seen that? Oh no, let me change the background. Him. This wild, I don't know what he is. Retired Border Patrol agent arrested for being the East Valley serial apis in Arizona. After more than 2 decades of East Valley serial apis is in custody. Mesa Police Department, using DNA technology, identified and arrested the East Valley apis 22 years after his first known offense. The man is identified as 57-year-old John Daly III, a recently retired Border Patrol agent. Between 1999 and 2001, Mesa police investigated a series of sexual assaults that, hold on, yeah, I can't open it. Be advised, Border Patrol. But I had something else. Hold on. So now I'm stuck. Every time. I'm trying to get somewhere, and I'm seeing all of these things I done pushed over here to remind me to tell y'all later. And I can't. Here is Trump's. It says Trump's whistleblower. Trump's impeachment whistleblower, Alexander Vindman, launches Democratic Senate campaign in Florida. He is a whistleblower. He telling y'all. Now, how far this go, I don't know. Who testified before Congress during President Donald Trump's first impeachment, is running for a Democratic nomination for Senate, okay, in a bid to face off against GOP Ashley Moody. So he was a whistleblower. I hope y'all plan is working. My God, I hope it works. I hope it works. Let me get back over here. I want to talk about Lex Wexner. I was doing some research on him the other day. He say it with his chest. He's saying it with his chest. He's saying it with his chest. Civil War. Forced to testify. They played themselves with that. Confronted by Jack Smith here. Another lie. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to go out on this one. Can y'all hit the like button? Oh, let me show y'all something. Y'all, I tried to take a picture of my, I couldn't get my other knee. Dang, that's too big. I can't make it smaller. Dang, trying to show y'all my knee. How swollen it was on that other side. It's too big. It was too close. Dang it. Can y'all tell how swollen it is on the right side? And I saw that little skin that's growing or healing. But y'all see how swole that knee is going out like a butt of a grapefruit. That's why y'all be catching me when I move the wrong way. I be like, ah! That's cause of that swollen knee. It don't even look like my knee. It don't even look like it. Bless my heart, Lord, please. Anyway. And that's just one of them. Yeah, because I was hearing some very interesting stuff about Lex and his family dynamic. Good. Let's go out on this one, y'all. Ouch.
Mountain Performance TV is the hardest working software in television. Get started today at mountain.com.
Everyone.
Y'all ready to listen with y'all good ear?
Take advantage of our winter offers and book your hotel. Save up to 45%. Enjoy free cancel.
Disregard the corporate mythology of the Victorian.
I hope it heals quickly. I dealt with a swollen knee. It isn't. Swollen knee. Still do. Be praying. Oh man, it's horrible. When do you get a chance? Look up Colin Kaepernick. He looked just like. Oh yeah, now that you said that, let me go here.
I forgive him.
Yeah, because you know him. Because you know him.
Juice from the world.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Excuse me. I hate they little songs, but they little songs be telling the story. So it's saying, who did the autopsy? Which time? Oh, he got that star. Oh, so he one of them.
They run the world, they're taking money from our banks. World, Jews run the world, they run the world, they're in our politicians, eh? I don't think you get it, this is really so severe. They be taking that money from everybody, even our peers.
Yeah, he done raised $1 million.
They be world, Jews run the world.
They raised $1 million for him already. So in other words, they playing in our face. Oh, wow. Woo. They playing in our face. So all of this is staged to raise money. $1,000, all of that. Nicki Minaj, who wants to pay for seats? Who, hold on. What did this say? Friends,
was a friend of Netanyahu. When Netanyahu was in America, this period where he's a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, the lengths he's gone to stop the totality of these documents coming out, it's just confirmation of what the hell must be in them. Then, in his first term, he moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, recognized the Golan Heights as Israel territory, Trump Heights now in that Golan area named after him. And then he's come in this time, and it's blatantly obvious he is controlled by Israel. That network that controls Israel connects into this global cult. He's bringing down the deep state. No, he's not. He's owned by the deep state, if you want to call it.
Hey, Mrs. Tom.
And he's just destroying the status quo so a new one can be introduced, which is what's happening simultaneously. You've got him wrecking ball the status quo, and he's circled by the AI oligarchs to push on to the next stage of the end game, which is AI was a friend of Netanyahu. When Netanyahu was in America, this period where he's a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, the lengths he's gone to stop the totality of these documents coming out, it's just confirmation of what the hell must be in them. Then, in his first term, he moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, recognized the Golan Heights as...
Didn't he just bomb Syria?
Heights now in that Golan area, named after him. And then he's come in this time, and it's blatantly obvious he is controlled by Israel. That network that controls Israel connects into this global cult. He's bringing down the deep state. No, he's not. He's owned by the deep state, if you want.
I mean, if we're just going to talk about it, but hold on, I think I got another one. Yeah, they could say, oh boy, is a crisis actor. I think he was military cute.
For you guys who have not listened to the Sasha Riley, let me say this. I listened to it last night, stayed up last night, and it is definitely not for the weakest individual to listen to that. I am still trying to vet a few things, but let me say that a lot of the things that he has said has certainly been corroborated with. And now we all know.
So does that.
Trump cannot hold his bowel movements. We all know now why he needs a pamper. We know why Fox News put a black pad under the white seats, under that white couch when he comes and visit. We know why now. Yeah, that is gore. That I can't even take that out of my mind, what has happened. I can't even take the things, and I'm a combat veteran, and the things that these young children have gone through. Yeah, if you got a weak stomach, weak mind, don't do it. Don't listen to it. Extreme caution is what I'll say. And lastly, let me say this. Trump administration during the fourth quarter, and to do anything to cause a conflict with the nation, to cause economic strife here in America and around the globe with NATO allies and neighbors, to burn the house down, to cause civil unrest here in the States with brown immigrants.
Thank you, Mrs.
And you have lawmakers that are, GOP lawmakers that are leaving in droves. They're trying to run for governors and trying to run for Democrat seats. They're the ones that has lost their seats in redistricting in California and other places. Now they're cosplaying and running as Democrats. We're in a tailspin as it relates to the federal government, the country, because others will continue to carry on like nothing's happened. And the writing on the wall says, I'm going to do everything in my power to distract and not get these damn Epstein files out. And at the same time, I am going to remain in power, and you're not going to have a 2026 election. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to do everything in my power. That's basically what he's saying. Get ready. It's coming.
It's coming.
And I don't give a fuck who tells you not. You got a lot of smart people on this app that I've been watching and observing and saying that it won't happen because we have states run the... No. Gloves off. Don't sit up here and play fucking footsies with the fucking regime like this. This is nothing that you've never seen before. So get off your fucking ass and stop that bullshit that you're talking about. It won't happen. 6-7 years ago, we said we wouldn't elect that type of individual. It's going to happen. There's not going to be a fucking 2026 election. He's going to try, I'll say. He's going to try to cancel the fucking election, and it's going to be turmoil every fucking where. And you're going to have National Guard, you're going to have troops in combat fatigues doing all kinds of stupid shit. So get ready. It's coming. Truth has no party. Be well. For you guys who have...
Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, he came very military, didn't he? Baby. Yeah, let me see. Did y'all catch that with y'all good ear? Oh, wow. Let's hear this one.
She said that there's people eating flesh, like people eating
humans. Adriana Jimenez. She was a model, a Mexican model, and she was at this party. It was an underground party. Posted this chick over. They thought that she
what happened?
Be cool, but she started flipping out. They arrested her because she thought she was crazy. So you know that these elites out here, they be doing crazy shit like that, bro. She said that there's people eating flesh, bro, like people eating humans. Adriana Jimenez.
Imagine going to a party thinking you finna meet some elites. They down there eating humans.
Underground party, and Carlos Slim was the one that almost hosted that shit. Son, he brought the chick over. They thought
they down there eating humans, and then they wonder why you losing your mind, cause you done seen them eat a whole private jet. Yeah, a whole human. A whole human. Let me see some. A whole human. Oh, this messed me up.
They created the impossible, and now there are men trading their real wives for a plastic version with a chip. They came from Japan and are now booming in China. Reborn wives, robots, that promise to be the perfect companion, always smiling, obedient, and never complaining, are being sold as the headache-free relationship. Stores can't keep up with demand, and Brazil is already among the countries that buy the most of these technological wives. Many men say that a real woman spends too much, argues too much, and demands too much, while the robot does none of that. These wives are so real, it's scary. They talk, move, show emotions, and some even say it's impossible to tell if they're human or machine. For those who want drama-free love, it seems like a dream. Just affection, attention, and zero disappointments. Some people are even officially marrying robots. A Chinese engineer held a full ceremony dressing the robot like a real bride. And do you think this is the future of love or the end of real relationships? They created the impossible, and now there are men trading their real wives for a plastic version with a chip.
One of those
they came from Japan
robots
and are now booming
Trump
in
just
China.
standing there
Reborn
looking
wives,
crazy.
Robots.
Is one of them looking like robots. Okay, let me get back over here so I can end this. Let's look at Lex. Hit the like button, please.
Victoria's Secret Empire. The story of the Wexner clan is, in reality, a clinical case study of a man's psychological collapse. A patriarch who offered up his own wife and children as collateral for his fragile ego. Leslie Wexner possesses billions, yet internally, he is a hollow vessel.
He did what?
Raised under the thumb of a domineering mother. Disregard the corporate mythology of the Victoria's Secret Empire.
No, it's only women.
The story of the Wexner clan is, in
they don't have no model.
A clinical case study of a man's psychological collapse. A patriarch who offered up his own wife and children as collateral for his fragile ego. Leslie Wexner possesses billions, yet internally, he is a hollow vessel. Raised under the thumb of a domineering mother, he developed a pathological need for guidance. This was his fatal flaw. Jeffrey Epstein did not use force to infiltrate this family. Les Wexner knelt. He voluntarily surrendered the keys to his life, believing he had found a brother to fill the void of his insecurity. The true tragedy began in 1991 the moment Lee signed the power of attorney, granting a sexual predator absolute dominion over his fortune and his security. Abigail Wexner did not enter this marriage as a matriarch, but as a human shield. She and her 4 children were forced to exist in occupied territory, a home where the most dangerous predator in America roamed the hallways and sat at the dinner table with their children. The Wexner family was not defrauded. They were consumed from the inside out. The cost of this betrayal was not financial. It is the permanent, irreversible stain on a bloodline that must now live with a brutal truth. Their father chose to protect a monster rather than his own kin. A lonely billionaire and the predator. The seeds of the catastrophe that would eventually consume the Wexner children were sown decades before their birth, rooted in the suffocating psychological geometry of a Russian Jewish immigrant household in Dayton, Ohio. The family dynamic was defined by a devastating imbalance of power that permanently skewed Les Wexner's understanding of masculinity and authority. Harry Wexner, his father, was a man rendered almost invisible within his own home. Biographers describe Harry.
Yeah, I need for y'all to hit the like button. Let's tap off into this while this man will leave everything over to Epstein. Why? That ain't him. Let's tap into it, but hit the like, double tap the face of your screen. Why I get this sizing right? I don't know why the sizing ain't right. Hit the 3 dots at the top corner right. That is Epstein.
As a gentle but defeated figure,
I'm no
a
longer
shadow
blue.
who moved quietly through the rooms,
I've been.
utterly
What you mean you
eclipsed
no
by
longer
the force
blue?
of
I'm sorry. I thought you was talking about. I'm sorry. I thought you was talking about blue, like the blue state, Mrs. Tom. I was about to say, yeah, if y'all gone for a long period of time, I will, I will give him when I see y'all. There you go. Oh, you don't even know I've been hurt or injured, do you? You've been gone that long, you didn't even know I was hurt. You didn't know I had a very, very, very bad episode. It's almost coming up on a week Friday. You been gone that long. Y'all be missing that blue stuff. I thought she was talking about voting. I'm like, I was about to say, so you was red? Oh, Miss Tom, yeah, I done been. Yeah, you been sick. And I had a really, 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 really bad. I've been in pain. Oh my God. Did you just not see my knee? And it went down. It looked like a grapefruit, the butt of a grapefruit. Yeah. Yeah. I'm propped up. I need to really go get my peas and corn and stuff and put on my knee and the side of one knee. Oh, okay. Y'all hit the like button. Baby, they be like, yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, don't take it personal. If I don't see y'all for a while and I ain't seeing nobody saying hit the like button, support, none of that, I'm like, well, yeah. Oh, I'm laughing because I was thinking politics, baby. You talking about your stick. Where my stick? Where my, what they call it? My wrench at? There you go. And yes, I did eat. That's why I was late. But I am aching. I'm hurting. And I'm trying to do this without taking any pain medicine. No pain pills. Not even ibuprofen. But see, like at night, it get to the point where I can't bend it. Well, I never can bend it, but I don't know. So I got to get in some magnesium. Hot water. Okay, I'm finna start this over. I'm trying to understand why he done signed over everything to a man and he married with kids. Huh? Where they do that at? Where they do that at, y'all?
This was his fatal flaw. Disregard the corporate mythology of the Victoria's Secret empire. The story of the Wexner clan is, in reality, a clinical case study of a man's psychological collapse. A patriarch who offered up his own wife and children as collateral for his fragile ego. Leslie Wexner possesses billions, yet internally, he is a hollow vessel. Raised under the thumb of a domineering mother, he developed a pathological need
with
for
the
guidance.
ice.
This was his fatal
And it
flaw.
said for 3 days,
Jeffrey
days, and then go to heat.
This family. Les Wexner,
but I need to go get
he voluntarily surrendered the keys to his life.
Vegetable bag.
He had found a brother to fill the void of his own
He ain't your brother, he your lover.
The true tragedy began in 1991, the moment Lee signed the power of attorney, granting a sexual predator absolute dominion over his fortune and his security. Abigail Wexner did not enter this marriage as a matriarch, but as a human shield. She and her 4 children were forced to exist in occupied territory, a home where the most dangerous predator in America roamed the hallways and sat at the dinner table with their children. The Wexner family was not defrauded. They were consumed from the inside out. The cost of this betrayal was not financial. It is the permanent, irreversible stain on a bloodline that must now live with the brutal truth. Their father chose to protect a monster rather than his own kin. A lonely billionaire and the predator. The seeds of the catastrophe that would eventually consume the Wexner children were sown decades before their birth, rooted in the suffocating psychological geometry of a Russian Jewish immigrant household in Dayton, Ohio. The family dynamic was defined by a devastating imbalance of power that permanently skewed Les Wexner's understanding of masculinity and authority. Harry Wexner, his father, was a man rendered almost invisible within his own home. Biographers describe Harry as a gentle but defeated figure, a shadow who moved quietly through the rooms, utterly eclipsed by the force of nature that was his wife. He offered his son no template for strength, no shield against the intensity of the matriarch. Harry was a ghost, leaving a vacuum of paternal power that Les would spend the rest of his life trying to fill. Bella Wexner filled that vacuum with the force of a tidal wave. She was not merely a mother, she was the architect of her son's entire existence. A woman of terrifying intellect and unyielding will, Bella managed the finances of the family's original clothing store and managed the psyche of her son with equal rigor. She viewed Les not as a separate individual with his own agency, but as an extension of her own ambition, a vessel she crafted to achieve the status she craved. The psychological umbilical cord between them was never cut. It was merely plated in gold as the family fortune grew. She was his first employer, his fiercest critic, and the sole arbiter of his self-worth. In the forensic history of the dynasty, Bella stands as the gatekeeper who molded Les into a commercial genius, while simultaneously stripping him of the emotional autonomy required.
So he had mama issues.
Bella managed the finances of the family's
original
clothing store, and managed the psyche of her son with equal rigor. She viewed Les not as a separate individual with his own agency, but as an extension of her own ambition, a vessel she crafted to achieve in his own home. Biographers describe Harry as a gentle but defeated figure, a shadow who moved quietly through the rooms, utterly eclipsed by the force of nature that was his wife. He offered his son no template for strength, no shield against the intensity of the matriarch. Harry was a ghost, leaving a vacuum of paternal power that Les would spend the rest of his life trying to fill. Bella Wexner filled that vacuum with the force of a tidal wave. She was not merely a mother, she was the architect of her son's entire
I'm gonna be honest.
existence.
She looked like one of them macarons that dang, I missed it. Where they from? Where his parents from? What are they? Dang it, I missed it. What are they? But she looked like one of them macarons. Start out one thing, turn into another. Oh heck. What are they? I missed it. A Russian Jew, okay. Look at these lovers here. Mr. Lover, 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 lover. Yeah. Come by. We brothers. You his handler.
The seeds of the catastrophe that would eventually consume the Wexner children were sown decades before their birth, rooted in the suffocating psychological geometry of a Russian Jewish immigrant household in Ohio. The family dynamic was defined by a devastating imbalance of power that permanently skewed Les Wexner's understanding of masculinity and authority. Harry Wexner, his father, was a man rendered almost invisible in his own home. Biographers describe Harry as a gentle but defeated figure, a shadow who moved quietly through the rooms, utterly eclipsed by the force of nature that was his wife. He offered his son no template for strength, no shield against the intensity of the matriarch. Harry was a ghost, leaving a vacuum of paternal power that Les would spend the rest of his life trying to fill. Bella Wexner filled that vacuum with the force of a tidal. She was not merely a mother, she was the architect of her son's entire existence. A woman of terrifying intellect and unyielding will, Bella managed the finances of the family's original clothing store and managed the psyche of her son with equal rigor. She viewed Les not as a separate individual with his own agency, but as an extension of her own ambition, a vessel she crafted to achieve the status she craved. The psychological umbilical cord between them was never cut. It was merely plated in gold as the family fortune grew. She was his first employer, his fiercest critic, and the sole arbiter of his self-worth. In the forensic history of the dynasty, Bella stands as the gatekeeper who molded Les into a commercial genius, while simultaneously stripping him of the emotional autonomy required to be a complete man. She instilled in him a crippling perfectionism and a deep-seated insecurity, the gnawing belief that he was nothing without her guidance. For the first 5 decades of his life, Les Wexner lived in a state of suspended adolescence. While his peers were marrying, raising families, and forging independent identities, Lee remained the dutiful son, tethered to Bella's orbit. He lived a life of gilded isolation, a boy king who could command an empire of
A boy
thousands,
queen.
but could not navigate the simplest emotional landscape without a chaperone. Even after he became a billionaire, creating brands that defined the sexual zeitgeist of America, he did not build a life of his own. He built a monument to his loneliness. He constructed...
Sound like his mama, daddy, or him, shim. His him, shim mama may have played with him. That sounds to me kind of like Sasha when he talks about the foster mother abused him. Took pleasure in taking advantage of him.
To Bella's orbit. He lived a life of gilded isolation. A boy king who could command an empire of thousands, but could not navigate the simplest emotional landscape without a chaperone. Even after he became a billionaire, creating brands that defined the sexual zeitgeist
like
of
the
America,
macarons.
he did not build a life of his own. He built a monument to his loneliness. He constructed a massive estate in Ohio, but for decades, it was an empty stage set. There was no wife to share the master bedroom, no children to run through the halls. There was only Les, surrounded by servants and the looming internalized voice. Nothing without her guidance. For the first 5 decades of his life, Les Wexner lived in a state of suspended adolescence. While his peers were marrying, raising families, and forging independent identities, Lee remained the dutiful son, tethered to Bella's orbit. He lived a life of gilded isolation, a boy king who could command an empire of thousands, but could not navigate the simplest emotional landscape.
Yeah, we talked about the Alexander brothers yesterday.
Creating brands that defined the sexual zeitgeist of America, he did not build a life of his own. He built a monument to his loneliness. He constructed a massive estate in Ohio, but for decades, it was an empty stage set. There was no wife to share the master bedroom, no children to run through the halls. There was only Les, surrounded by servants and the looming internalized voice of his mother. This prolonged bachelorhood was a symptom of a profound inability to connect. Les Wexner was the prince in the tower, visible to everyone, but touchable by no one. He was socially awkward, intensely shy,
and now Trump want to give y'all babies $1,000
in his own life.
So he can have access to him forever.
Collecting modern art and listening to classical music, yet he remained an outsider, a man looking through the glass at the world of human intimacy. He possessed the money to buy anything, yet he lacked the cool, the swagger, the dangerous masculinity that he saw in the movies and in the magazines he sold. He was a man made of anxiety and sweater.
No swag, no manhood, no...
He was socially awkward, intensely shy, and plagued by the feeling that he was an imposter in his own life. He cultivated an image of sophistication, collecting modern art and listening to classical music. Yet he remained an outsider, a man looking through the glass at the world of human intimacy. He possessed the money to buy anything, yet he lacked the cool, the swagger, the dangerous masculinity that he saw in the movies and in the magazines he sold. He was a man made of anxiety and sweaters, a billionaire who felt like a fraud, desperately waiting for someone to unlock the door to the real life he felt he was missing. By the mid-1980s, Les Wexner was a man in deep crisis. He was approaching 50, incredibly wealthy, and utterly alone. The death of his father, Harry, severed one link to the past, but it only intensified the focus of his mother. The psychological profile of Les Wexner at this moment is what forensic psychologists classify as an empty vessel. He was a man with a vast capacity for devotion, but no object to receive.
Okay, Daddy died, and what was going on with Mom?
Who could perform a specific complex psychological function. To replace the overbearing mother, with an overbearing brother. He did not need a business partner. He had conquered as an empty vessel. He was a man with a vast capacity for devotion.
He lost his daddy, but mama did what? Did she ever get
the door to the real life he felt he was missing? By the mid-1980s, Les Wexner was a man in deep crisis. He was approaching 50, incredibly wealthy, and utterly alone. The death of his father, Harry, severed one link to the past, but it only intensified the focus of his mother. The psychological profile of Les Wexner at this moment is what forensic psychologists classify as an empty vessel. He was a man with a vast capacity for devotion, but no object to receive it. He was searching for a figure who could perform a specific complex psychological function to replace the overbearing mother with an overbearing brother. He did not need a business partner. He had conquered retail. He needed a mentor in living. He craved someone who could navigate the social hierarchy.
He needed a mentor in living. Hold on.
And ease he lacked.
You gotta watch the words. He needed not a brother, but a what? Let me put the closed caption up. But a partner in living. What did he say?
Specific complex psychological function to replace the overbearing mother with an overbearing brother. He did not need a business partner. He had conquered retail. He needed a mentor in living. He craved someone who could navigate the social hierarchies of New York and Palm Beach with the aggression and ease he lacked. He wanted an alter ego, a version of himself that was unburdened by fear, unconcerned with rules, and sexually liberated. He was tired of being the good boy from Ohio. He wanted to touch the flame. This desperate, unarticulated need created a blind spot the size of his entire fortune. Les Wexner was not looking for a financial advisor. He was looking for a savior who could validate his manhood. He was a lock waiting for a key. And
he needed a what to validate his what? He needed a savior? Did he say savior? To validate his manhood?
Unburdened by fear, unconcerned with rules, and sexually
We've
liberated.
Seen that mother look like.
He was tired of being the good boy from
I can
Ohio.
only imagine what
He wanted
she
to
did
touch
to him.
the flame.
But Shim was a
This
him.
desperate, unarticulated need created a blind spot the size of his entire fortune. Les Wexner was not looking for a financial advisor. He was looking for a savior who could validate his manhood. He was a lock waiting for a key. And in
Epstein
the
was the
chaotic,
key.
predatory ecosystem of 1980s high society, there was one man who specialized in unlocking billionaires, Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow.
The tragedy of the Wexner bloodline is that this psychological crisis occurred before the biological bloodline had
He's the bottom.
Because Les had no wife.
He's a bottom. He's a receiver. He didn't need no brother. He don't need no homie. I don't need no homie. I need a lover friend to validate, to take me to places that I've never been before. I want you to make me feel good on the inside of the rear side. Buns waiting for a pickle. It's pickle game, baby. Hot dog. Can y'all please hit the like button? This about to get good. What time is it? Hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Waiting for a key. And in the chaotic, predatory ecosystem of 1980s high society, there was one man who specialized in unlocking billionaires.
Breaking them off.
The tragedy of the Wexner bloodline is that this psychological crisis occurred before the biological bloodline had even been established. Because Les had no wife or children in the 1980s, there was no immune system to protect him. In a healthy family dynasty, a spouse or adult children act as a defensive ring, spotting a grifter like Epstein and expelling him. They ask the hard questions. Who is this man? Where does his money come from? Why is he always whispering in father's ear? But Les had no such protection.
In father's ear?
He had only sycophants who were on his payroll.
Why is he?
Had no wife or children in the 1980s. There was no immune system to protect him. In a healthy family dynasty, a spouse or adult children act as a defensive ring, spotting a grifter like Epstein and expelling him. They ask the hard questions. Who is this man? Where does his money come from? Why is he always whispering in father's ear? But Les had no such protectors. He had only sycophants who were on his payroll and a mother who was aging. He was exposed. The fortress of his wealth had thick walls to keep out thieves, but it had no defenses against a friend. The house was empty, the lights were on, and the door was unlocked. The stage was perfectly set for an invasion that would not steal the paintings off the walls, but would steal the soul of the man who bought them. The exact circumstances of the first meeting between Leslie Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein remain shrouded in a fog of conflicting dates and erased calendars, a testament to the secret of Nick.
That's their first meeting. Love. Y'all hit the like button. Hit the 3 dots at the top right corner. Please. Who you? And there's nothing particularly wrong. he had love on his mind. Can I get y'all to double tap the face of your phone? Or hit the 3 dots at the top right. I'm over 2 hours in. This don't make no sense. What we doing? And if you don't feel like you want to hit the like button, that's cool. We don't have no problem with that. We don't want no problems. You can just go ahead and leave, please. Because you don't want to hit the like button and we don't want, you know what I mean? Hit the like button or hit the door, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. And I'm watching a video right now on the other device. Folks need to stop going on people's jobs, you know. You and your homegirl pulling up like y'all tough and rough. Y'all don't know what type of special training folks done had in their lives. You just don't know what type of Fu Man Chong Hong. You know, you just don't know. They're gonna use you like a mop. They're gonna clean the floor up with you. Okay, y'all come on, hit the like button. I need some more people to go ahead and leave, please. It's about to get good. Okay.
Nature of the bond that formed between them remained shrouded in a fog of conflicting dates and erased calendars, a testament to the secretive nature of the bond that formed between them. Most accounts place the encounter in the mid-1980s, likely at a social gathering in Palm Beach or New York. On paper, the pairing was an impossibility.
Just like the Alexander
Wexner.
brothers. It's Florida, New York. Trump, Florida, New York. Diddy, Florida, New York. Epstein, Florida, New York. Y'all see that pattern? Florida, New York. If it ain't my aunt, well, Palm Beach. That's a pattern. Real estate is a pattern.
Dates and erased calendars, a testament to the secretive nature of the bond that formed between them. Most accounts place the encounter in the mid-1980s, likely at a social gathering in Palm Beach or New York. On paper, the pairing was an impossibility. Wexner was a retail emperor, a man whose net worth rivaled the GDP of small nations. Epstein was a college dropout from Brooklyn,
Got them
a
devilish
former
eyebrows
math teacher
almost.
turned financial drifter with a padded resume and no verifiable fortune.
Timing and patterns.
In the brutal calculus of high society, Epstein should have been invisible to Wexner.
At Capital Group, we design our active ETFs
Somebody
to
took
weather
their
the
life
ups and
away.
downs of the market, so they can be rooted at the core of a portfolio.
Somebody took their life away. Somebody took their life away. What we doing?
This is your Hardee's 2 for $5 breakfast mix and match along.
Y'all ready to get the lights set back up?
Or perhaps
He was a nobody, but
Next time I have to go out and come back in, I'm out.
Epstein possessed a weapon that was far more potent than a balance sheet. He was a chameleon of terrifying precision. Epstein did not approach Wexner as a subordinate seeking a job. He approached him as an equal, perhaps even a superior. He recognized instantly that Wexner suffered from the imposter syndrome, common to self-made men who rise from humble beginnings to stratospheric wealth. Wexner felt uncomfortable in his own skin, perpetually worried that he was too provincial, too Ohio, too soft. Epstein presented himself as the antidote. He was everything Les was not: brash, physically imposing, aggressive behavior, and cloaked in an aura of international mystery. He spoke in rapid-fire bursts about currency markets and tax loopholes, weaving a tapestry of intelligence that dazzled the older man. Epstein didn't just walk into a room, he owned it. For Wexner, watching Epstein operate was like watching a movie star play the role
he fell in love with that.
It was captivating. Forensic psychologists describe the technique Epstein employed as mirroring. He studied his target with the intensity of a predator, identifying the deep, unmet needs in Wexner's psyche, and then molded his own personality to fill those voids. Lee craved intellectual validation. Epstein positioned himself as a rogue genius, a financial brain surgeon who saw patterns no one else could see. Les felt socially awkward. Epstein became his social battering ram, the man who could charm the women and intimidate the waiters. Les felt trapped by the morality of his upbringing. Epstein was the libertine who lived without rules. This dynamic created a bond that was far more intimate and dangerous than a business partnership. It was a symbiotic fusion. Epstein became Les Wexner's dark twin, the personification of the billionaire's
so they
repressed
twin.
ID. Associates from that era recall that the two men became inseparable. They traveled together, dined together, and shopped for real estate together. Wexner, who had always been guarded and insular, suddenly opened up completely to this stranger. He looked at Epstein and saw the man he wished he could be. It was a seduction in the purest sense of the word, not necessarily sexual, but profoundly emotional. Epstein offered Les a second adolescence, a chance to be one of the cool kids for the first time in his life. As the psychological dependency deepened, Epstein moved to surgically remove the immune system that surrounded the billionaire. A wealthy man like Wexner is typically
I saw that at a wedding one time
phalanx of
in
lawyers,
Louisiana.
accountants, and longtime advisors whose job is to protect the principal from fraud. These people were the natural enemies of a
found his food
parasite, Epstein systematically dismantled them. He whispered in Les's ear that his old team was incompetent, that they were small thinkers who didn't understand the complex global game that Epstein was playing. He played on Les's insecurities, convincing him that his loyal lieutenants were actually holding him back. One by one, the voices of reason were silenced or fired.
This how he got his money, y'all.
The accountants who asked to see Epstein's trading records were dismissed. The lawyers who questioned Epstein's background were shut out of meetings. Epstein created a closed loop of information where he was the only source of truth. He isolated the host. By the late 1980s, Les Wexner was effectively alone in a room with Jeffrey Epstein. The protective layer of skepticism that usually surrounds a fortune of that magnitude had been stripped away, peeling back the armor to reveal the soft, vulnerable human beneath. The predator had not just entered the house, he had locked the doors from the inside.
Locked the predator in.
The people knocking outside were the enemies. The final element of this psychological capture was the shared lifestyle of the eternal bachelor. Before Abigail entered the picture, Les and Jeffrey existed in a world of mass.
So Abigail had 4 kids.
Isolated the host.
Already.
By the late 1980s, Les Wexner was effectively alone in a room with Jeffrey Epstein. The protective layer of skepticism that usually surrounds a fortune of that magnitude had been stripped away, peeling back the armor to reveal the soft, vulnerable human beneath. The predator had not just entered the house, he had locked the doors from the inside and convinced the owner that the people knocking outside were the enemies. The final element of this psychological capture was the shared lifestyle of the eternal bachelor. Before Abigail entered the picture, Les and Jeffrey existed in a world of masculine exclusivity. Epstein curated a lifestyle for Les that was exciting, dangerous, and transgressively freeing. They were partners in a private club of 2. This period cemented Epstein's role not just as an advisor, but as a gatekeeper to pleasure and freedom. He made Les feel alive. This gratitude is what blinded Wexner to the red flags that were visible to everyone else. When rumors of Epstein's behavior with young women began to circulate, Lees didn't see a predator. He saw his friend, his brother.
Diagnosed with Crohn's disease and struggling with your symptoms? It's not too soon to talk to your doctor about Entyvio for moderate to severe Crohn's and learn about the results.
The man who had liberated him from his mother's shadow. He interpreted Epstein's deviance as eccentricity, a quirk of genius. This willful blindness was the price of admission for the friendship Les so desperately craved. He had found his alter ego, and he was willing to pay any price, including his own soul, to keep him. By the late 1980s, the infection of the Wexner household metastasized from a psychological influence into a structural takeover. Epstein realized that to secure absolute control, he could not simply whisper in Les's ear. He had to dismantle the corporate firewall surrounding the billionaire. He needed to eliminate the skeptics who asked for receipts and demanded logic. The most brutal casualty of this purge was Robert Murawski, the vice chairman of the Limited and the operational genius who had built the logistical backbone of Wexner's empire. Murawski was everything Epstein was not. Disciplined, transparent, and grounded in the reality of hard work. He was the adult in the room. When rumors began to circulate about Epstein's shadowy background and his bizarre influence over Les, Murawski and other senior executives raised flags. They questioned why a man with no credentials was sitting in on high-level strategy meetings. They questioned the logic of the financial schemes Epstein was proposing. Epstein's reaction was swift and lethal. He did not confront Murawski directly. Instead, he worked on Les's insecurities in the quiet of their private dinners. He painted Murawski and the old guard as plotters, as relics of the past, who lacked the vision to understand the future. He convinced Les that his
Australia
oldest
in
friends
the
were
house.
actually jealous of his genius.
Shout out
that
to
they were holding
Australia.
him back from true greatness. In 1987, under Epstein's influence, Robert Murawski, the man who had helped build the fortune, was forced out. It was a shocking decapitation of the corporate leadership.
Backdoor.
Les Wexner had chosen the mesmerizing stranger over the Lord.
Mesmerized.
He lacked the
Oh
vision
my
to
God.
understand the future. He convinced Les that his oldest friends were actually jealous of his genius, that they were holding him back from true greatness. In 1987, under Epstein's influence, Robert Murawski, the man who had helped build the fortune,
Hey, Jerry.
was forced out.
New York in the
It was a
house.
shocking decapitation of the corporate leadership. Les Wexner had chosen the mesmerizing stranger over the loyal brother in arms. This betrayal sent a chilling message to everyone else in Wexner's orbit. Question Jeffrey Epstein, and you will die professionally. With the skeptics removed, Epstein moved to fill the vacuum with a new kind of loyalty. Loyalty to him, not to the business. He began to involve himself in the hiring of household staff, security personnel, and even nannies. He effectively constructed a new Praetorian Guard around Les, composed of people who understood that their access to the billionaire was conditional on Epstein's approval. This was a classic cult tactic, isolation through dependency. By controlling who got to see Les, who got to speak to Les, and who got paid by Les, Epstein became the sole filter of reality. By 1990, the transformation was complete. The bustling, chaotic, but honest circle of advisors that had surrounded Les Wexner for decades had been replaced by a silence. The only voice that echoed in the hallways of the New Albany mansion was Jeffrey's. Les was now hermetically sealed inside a bubble of Epstein's creation. He had alienated his business partners, distanced himself from his extended family, and cut ties with the Jewish community.
Booty woozled, bamboozled, butt woozled.
He was a king with only one subject.
So, is he trying to say grooming? So, Epstein groomed Wexner out of his wife and family, business partners, and money. He butt woozled him. I can't think of nothing else but butt woozled. He dick woozled him. Sure did. He butt woozled. That's right. Huh? Lord, I done got none. Miss Tom got me over here with a bag. Y'all can't see it. With a bag on my leg. Bag of vegetables. Y'all can't see it. Vegetables on my leg. I'm over here numb as hell. And I know I just heard what I thought I heard. Like he done got mesmerized. But tranquilized. Acidized. Chestnut checkers. Baby, his everything. Y'all hit the like button. I hate to have to shut down on y'all. What double tap? Snap. Bam bam. What do I need to do to I can't think of how to say it for likes and double tap. I need to bam. I don't want to butt woozle y'all, but Lord, he said I done went too long without nothing going on. And I need some me and Mr. Epstein going on. Me and Mr. Epstein. Y'all sing with me. We got a thing, thing going on. You can have all my money. You can have it all. He T.I.'d it. You can have it ever. Baby, y'all hit the like button. What? Oh, wow. This is some crazy stuff, y'all.
Hermetically sealed inside.
I was not expecting this.
Creation. He had alienated.
I'm going to be honest. I thought they was in this business together. I thought they was in business together. Yeah, Miss Tom. Miss Tom said, I ain't blue no more. You used to have a star by your name too, Miss Tom. What happened to your star? Huh? Y'all listen. I was not expecting this. With this getting familiar with Les Wexner. The man who provided all the money for Epstein. I really thought they was in this business with the CIA and you know, and all of this together. But he knew what was going on. So with the trafficking part, he never backed out of it. But he was insecure. He had some mommy issues, mommy daddy issues, and now that we know that they was playing with, you know, the look, it was a big old secret. So they wanted the look to look appropriate. But a lot of that was some man on man. He loved him. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Distanced himself from his extended family and cut ties with the Jewish community leaders who had once been his peers.
It's always a pattern. They always up in there. And these are these new and improved Rothschilds. And if you do the research on them, they play with their incest, playing with nieces and sisters and brothers and cousins and exes, wives, and they did a lot of sharing within their family.
He was a king with only one subject. This total isolation was the prerequisite for the final act of the tragedy.
I don't know what ICK is.
The signing of the document that would legally hand over the keys to the kingdom. There was no one left in the room to grab Les's hand and say, "Stop." The psychological annexation of Les Wexner culminated in a specific, terrifying legal event that remains unparalleled in the history of American wealth. On July 26, 1991, inside a quiet office likely devoid of the usual legal guardians who would have screamed in protest, Les Wexner signed a document that acted as his own spiritual execution. It was a general power of attorney. In the world of high net worth individuals, limited powers of attorney are common for specific transactions. But this document was an aberration. It granted Jeffrey Epstein, a man with no degree, no license, and a shadowed past, absolute unrestricted dominion over Les Wexner's entire existence. This piece of paper gave Epstein the legal authority to do anything Les could do. Sign checks, buy and sell real estate, hire and fire staff, borrow money, and bind Wexner to contracts. It was not a delegation of duties. It was an abdication of self. By inking his signature, Les Wexner effectively erased his own agency and appointed Epstein as his proxy in the physical world. It was a legal fusion of identities. The patriarch had voluntarily handed the keys to the kingdom, the fortune built by his mother's grit and his own 50 years of labor, to a predator who viewed the family merely as a host to be drained.
A host
the
to
most
be what?
visceral symbol of this surrender was the transfer of the Herbert N. Strauss house. This 21,000 square foot limestone mansion at 9 East 71st Street in Manhattan was the crown jewel of Wexner's real estate portfolio, a property of immense historical significance and value. Les had spent years and millions of dollars renovating it, intending it to be his legacy home, the place where he would perhaps raise a family.
Do y'all
Yet
believe
he
it?
never moved in. Instead, in a transaction that baffled real estate experts and terrified his remaining friends, the rights to the mansion were transferred to entities controlled by Epstein. While money technically changed hands on paper, the forensic reality was that Les effectively gave the house to Epstein. The predator moved in, taking over the master bedroom that was meant for Les. He filled the house with his art, his surveillance cameras, and his network of young victims.
He gave his house.
And value. Les had spent years and millions of dollars renovating it, intending it to be his legacy home, the place where he would perhaps raise a family. Yet he never moved in. Instead, in a transaction that baffled real estate experts and terrified his remaining friends, the rights to the mansion were transferred to entities controlled by Epstein. While money technically changed hands on paper, the forensic reality was that Les effectively gave the house to Epstein. The predator moved in, taking over the master bedroom that was meant for Les. He filled the house with his art, his surveillance cameras, and his network of young victims. The house that was supposed to be the Wexner family's ancestral seat in New York became the headquarters of an international human trafficking ring. This was not just a loss of property, it was a profound violation of the family's domestic sanctity. Les had built the nest and the cuckoo had taken it. The signing of the power of attorney in 1991 marks the moment of Les Wexner's spiritual death. From that day forward, he was a passenger in his own life. Epstein used his new power to infiltrate every corner of the Wexner world. He set up the trusts. He managed the philanthropic foundation.
He did him like he did them girls.
He became the gatekeeper to Les's private life. This usurpation meant that the Wexner bloodline was compromised before it even technically existed. When Les would later marry and have children, they would be born into a system already rigged by a monster.
Oh, wow.
Their inheritance was managed by him. Their security was hired by him. Their father was owned by him. The Soul Contract of 1991
so Lady married him thinking that he was a man.
Would never truly be alone. The shadow of Jeffrey Epstein was already cast over the nursery of the children who were yet to be born. A dark inheritance waiting to claim its price in trauma and shame. The patriarch had sold the safety of his future kin for the friendship of a ghoul. A marriage of three, Les Abigail and Jeffrey Epstein. By late 1991,
a marriage of three
was approaching a demographic cliff.
Are y'all listening to this?
The very legitimacy of the dynasty he was trying to build.
So they were really kind of like that poly stuff. But she didn't know it? Is that what I'm hearing, kind of? They were poly, and she didn't know it. He lived in the house
Shadow
with
of
them.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Now y'all know this. That's what they kind of said about, what's his name? Eddie Murphy. And, love me the right way, stroke. Put on your red pantsuit and pick your throat out. And some of that sweet cologne. Yeah, that's what old girl was saying about Johnny Gill and Eddie Murphy, that he stayed in their outhouse, the parents' quarter. He had his own apartment. on their estate. That's what they said, Fred. That's what they said. And you know, Eddie Murphy did have on that red leather outfit on Delirious, didn't it? It was red jacket with red leather pants.
Foundations.
Interesting.
He became the gatekeeper to Les's private life. This usurpation meant that the Wexner bloodline was compromised before it even technically existed. When Les would later marry and have children, they would be born into a system already rigged by a monster. Their inheritance was managed by him. Their security was hired by him. Their father was owned by him.
And they got pulled over with a tranny.
The sole contract of 1991 ensured that the Wexner family would never truly be alone. The shadow of Jeffrey Epstein was already cast over the nursery of the children who were yet to be born. A dark inheritance waiting to claim its price in trauma and shame. The patriarch had sold the safety of his future kin for the friendship of a ghoul. A marriage of three, Les Abigail and Jeffrey Epstein.
You don't remember what?
By late 1991.
You don't remember what? You don't remember the red leather pantsuit? You don't remember Eddie Murphy, Johnny Gill, when he was married to Nicole? Which part? Which part do you taught me where research everything? I'm glad you know I researched real. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. Hey, Kane Life. How you doing? Woo, 13 months. You've been with me for over a year. Let's go. Me and you shall never part. My tea sipper. Miss Tom, which part do you not remember? Y'all give it up for Kane Life. He got the start. I think he had the start the longest. I think they stayed with me once they took me down. He stayed up in there. Yeah, I do that research on her. Yeah, somebody tried. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. Shout out to Trigger though. Shout out to Trigger in Memphis. Shout out to them. They tried to take my Young Dolph research. As long as my archives is hell. Baby girl tried to challenge me last night. Late. I should have been sleeping. I don't know. I know what I drunk that kept me up real late. I drunk it too late. Baby girl tried to challenge me on my. Said I was taking they tea from them. I said to myself, what? And guess who was over there co-signing, y'all? Y'all ain't gonna believe who was over there co-signing late in the midnight hour. Was it after midnight? No, it was late though. Y'all ain't gonna believe the couple of partners that be over here who was trying to co-sign with their foolishness. As much archive as I have on Dolph. Baby girl tried to tell me I got it from them over there, and I never went over there. And then she tried to call me out, like to a scratch off, y'all. She says something happened over here. We ended up on good terms, y'all. So I'm not mad. She not either. But she was a Yo Gotti Big Jug fan and family. So shout out to her. But she tried to call me out, told me I wasn't nothing and I was shit and just shit. She just went ham. And I'm like, oh shit, the tea is scorching hot. Let me tell you something. Then bro, she ain't gonna bring her ass up here. She was going ham. And I was a guest over there and I'm like, whoa, what is this? So, you know, Laquita had to take her ghetto ass. Her already in pain, right? Wanting some pain pills and don't want to take none because I don't want to be hooked on nothing. I done been detoxing, you know, so I ain't want to take no pain pill or nothing. So, you know, I'm already swole. So Laquita took her ass up there. And, you know, she thought she was finna just overpower on TV. Now, I don't know, because, you know, she said she used to be over here and she don't like it. I be talking, I be doing shit. I'm this and I'm that and my shit don't be right. And, you know, all of this. I don't know what. I was kind of caught off guard a little bit. Like, what the? She a fan. And then, you know, who she had on her thumbnail. So I kind of understood, baby. But Laquita went up there already in pain. Needing to get into some magnesium water and soak this leg. And I went up there swinging. Just a swinging. I don't have to steal shit from nobody. I do my research. You can ask my tea sippers, and if you really have been watching, you'll see the route in which I go to find what I find, and I just connect the dots. I don't have to steal shit from nobody. But if I use the content to get my point across, I will give you a shout out. I went to saying some crazy ghetto alley cat beer drinking, bottle opening with your teeth. But shout out to her. You know, shout out to her. She knew Big Juke personally, and you know, we kind of brought it to Dallas. Malcolm X, and she said, hold up, baby girl, you know, hold up. You know exactly what you talking about. Well, now my your teeth hurt. Why your teeth hurt? She said, hold up. Yeah, so shout out to Trig. You know, it started out cool, it got a little rough, but it ended, you know, where it needed to end respectfully. So shout out. But I got here because Specs said I taught him where to do the research. And I'm like, what is this? And pressure up there. Dang, I wasn't gonna say his name, but it wasn't just pressure. But anyway, that's how we got here. But again, shout out to them. I started with Duke Pharaoh. Then wind up to Timbo Slice, and then it was Trigger, Polar. So that's just kind of the route I went through with the Mo3 sector. So shout out to them. Full justice for Mo3, full justice for Young Doll. She said it's over. I don't believe it's over. She believes that the shooters are locked up, and she tend to believe Straight Drop ain't gonna make it in there after the hands he received. But I feel like there will not be full justice until Govan is locked up. And that's just my opinion, because he's still working. Okay, let me move on, y'all. Let me get this, because I got Candace tonight. Let's go. That's what happened in the late hours.
Wexner was approaching a demographic cliff that threatened the very legitimacy of the dynasty he was trying to build. He was 54 years old, the wealthiest man in Ohio, and the creator of a brand,
Hold up.
Victoria's Secret,
I feel like I missed something.
that was existed. When Les would later marry and have children, they would be born into a system already rigged by a monster. Their inheritance was managed by him, their security was hired by him, their father was owned by him. The Soul Contract of 1991 ensured that the Wexner family would never truly be alone. The shadow of Jeffrey Epstein was already cast over the nursery of the children who were yet to be born, a dark inheritance waiting to claim its price in trauma and shame. The patriarch had sold the safety of his future kin for the friendship of a ghoul, a marriage of three, Les Abigail and Jeffrey Epstein. By late 1991, Leslie Wexner was approaching a demographic cliff that threatened the very legitimacy of the dynasty he was trying to build. He was 54 years old, the wealthiest man in Ohio, and the creator of a brand, Victoria's Secret, that was redefining female sexuality for the masses. Yet his own private life was a vacuum of intimacy that had begun to draw whispers. For decades, he had lived as a confirmed bachelor, deeply enmeshed in a codependent relationship with his mother Bella, and more recently, in an intense, all-consuming bond with Jeffrey Epstein. The optics were becoming a liability. In the conservative social circles of the Midwest, a billionaire without a wife or heir is viewed with suspicion. Rumors regarding Wexner's sexuality and true nature of his relationship with the mysterious financial advisor from New York were beginning to circulate, threatening to crack the carefully polished veneer.
I'm learning something. I thought he was involved. It sounded like he got
the decision to marry was not driven by a sudden lightning strike of romance, but by a cold dynastic necessity. Wexner was in the process of building his magnum opus, New Albany, a sprawling utopian community in Ohio designed to live with his mother Bella, and more recently, in an intense, all-consuming bond with Jeffrey Epstein. The optics were becoming a liability. In the conservative social circles of the Midwest, a billionaire without a wife or heir is viewed with suspicion. Rumors regarding Wexner's sexuality and the true nature of his relationship with the mysterious financial advisor from New York were beginning to circulate, threatening to crack the carefully polished veneer of the merchant prince. Forensic biographers argue that the decision to marry was not driven by a sudden lightning strike of romance, but by a cold dynastic necessity. Wexner was in the process of building his magnum opus, New Albany, a sprawling utopian community in Ohio designed to look like a Georgian English village. He was building a fiefdom, and a fiefdom requires a queen and heirs. The bachelor king needed a wife to complete the set. But unlike a normal courtship, where two people find each other in the chaos of life, this search was conducted under the watchful, predatory eye of the man who held the keys to Les's soul, Jeffrey Epstein. The tragedy of the future Mrs. Wexner began here, before she even met her husband. She was not walking into a romance. She was walking into a recruitment process for a role that had been defined, vetted, and approved by a sex trafficker. The introduction of Abigail Koppel to the inner circle was a masterclass in triangulation. Abigail was 30 years old, a highly intelligent corporate lawyer practicing in London and New York. She was polished, attractive, and possessed the sharp legal mind that Les admired. But to enter Les's life, she first had to pass through the Epstein filter. Sources close to the trio during this period describe a disturbing dynamic where Epstein acted almost as a protective older brother or a jealous gatekeeper. He was the one who managed Les's schedule. He was the one who advised Les on character judgments. It is a psychological horror unique to this family. The predator helps select the prey. Epstein likely viewed Abigail not as a threat to his dominance, but as a necessary prop, a beard of sorts, or a legitimizing figure who would distract the public from the bizarre intensity of the LeJeffrey bond. He needed someone who could play the part of the society wife perfectly. Someone who would busy herself with philanthropy and horses, leaving the darker financial and personal
he had to approve
the
her.
men. Abigail passed the test. She was deemed safe. She was allowed to enter the bubble. But she was entering a relationship where the emotional intimacy was already hoarded by another man. She was the third wheel in her own courtship. The wedding ceremony took place at Wexner's estate in New Albany, amidst a winter snowstorm. It was the social event of the decade in Ohio, a coronation of the new power couple. Yet the invisible architecture of the event was defined by the presence of the alter ego. While Les stood at the altar waiting for his bride, his mind and his fortune were legally tethered to Jeffrey Epstein. Just months prior, Les had effectively signed away his financial soul to another master. This context transforms the wedding from a celebration into a tragedy of dramatic irony. Abigail Koppel walked down the aisle to pledge her life to a man who had already pledged his life to someone else. She was marrying a man who, in the eyes of the law, did not fully own his own signature. Epstein was not merely a guest at the wedding. He was the silent partner in the union. He was the specter at the feast, the man who knew where the bodies were buried, the man who had facilitated the transfer of wealth that paid for the flowers and the champagne.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time.
Have you considered taking an A&AB training
Okay, yeah, I'm finna get ready to shut it down.
or traveling to San Antonio and
As Abigail said I do, she locked herself into a throuple defined by coercion and secrets. She became the public face of a private hell. The most perplexing aspect of this union is Abigail's own agency. She was not a naive debutante. She was a trained lawyer. How did she miss the red flags? The answer lies in the sophistication of the manipulation. Epstein and Les presented a united front of genius. Epstein was framed not as a grifter, but as a financial savant, an eccentric wizard who relieved Les of the burden of money management. Abigail was likely seduced by the sheer scale of the life Les offered, the private jets, the estates, the limitless philanthropic budget. However, almost immediately she found herself in a golden cage. The domestic sphere she was supposed to rule was porous. Epstein had the run of the house. He had the ear of the husband. He influenced the staffing. Abigail found herself in a marriage where she had to compete for her husband's attention, not with another woman, but with a man who held a psychological grip on Les that she could not break. She became the manager of the facade. Her job was to normalize Les, to soften his edges, to present a picture of domestic bliss to the world. While behind the scenes, the predator continued to siphon off the family wealth and use the family name to cloak his crimes. She had traded her legal career for a life where the law did not apply, trapped in a mansion where the locks were controlled by a monster. Between 1993 and the late 1990s, the Wexner household underwent a profound transformation. Abigail gave birth to 4 children: Harry, Hannah, David, and Sarah. To the outside world, the arrival of these heirs completed the portrait of the American dream. Les Wexner, the merchant prince, finally had his dynasty. The New Albany estate, once a sterile monument to a bachelor's ego, was filled with the sounds of crying babies, ponies, and the chaotic joy of childhood. But in the forensic reality of the family finances, these children were born into occupied territory. From the moment they drew their first breath, the Wexner children were entangled in a legal and financial web spun by Jeffrey Epstein. Because of the 1991 power of attorney and Epstein's role as the primary trustee of the Wexner family trust,
straight on pillows
the predator
above your heart
technically held the purse strings to their future. He was not just a friend of the father. He was the custodian of the
I got
children's
that
inheritance.
wedge.
This created a grotesque power
That wedge.
dynamic where the man, who would later be convicted of serious offenses against minors, held a fiduciary duty over the welfare of Lise Wexner's own.
Let me show you something, Miss Tom. See if you can see it. Let me show you. It look like a look past the scars because that's not that part is here. You see that on the far right? It look like a bud of grapefruit. Don't be saying, "Ooh, look at that, baby! I'm healing." Yeah, you see it? The other leg not that bad. It's just this leg is the worst. So thank God the other leg wasn't as bad as my left wasn't as bad as my right, because now like when I have I have to put that pressure when I stand up on my left. But when the first 2-3 days, really the first 2 days, putting pressure on both sides just was woo. Ooh. But Lord, I thank you, because it could have been worse. It most definitely could have been worse. That's all I'm going to say. It could have been worse. So Lord, I thank you. I'm trying to get back to oh boy. I think I passed his picture. Let me finish this up.
Offspring. The wolf was not huffing at the door. He was holding the deed to the house. The proximity of Jeffrey Epstein to the Wexner children was not metaphorical. It was physical and terrifyingly intimate. On the sprawling grounds of the Wexner estate in New Albany, a compound designed to be the safest place in Ohio, Epstein was given his own residence. He frequently stayed in the guest house, located just a stone's throw from the main mansion where the children slept. He was a fixture in their lives, a man who came and went without security checks.
No, I'm not.
A man who had the run of the grounds.
Nope.
Former staff members and associates have described Epstein's presence during these years as ubiquitous. He was treated as a member of the family, a weird uncle figure who sat at the dinner table, offered unsolicited advice on parenting, and critiqued the children's development.
Oh, wow.
For Abigail Wexner, this must have been a daily quiet nightmare or a feat of catastrophic denial. She was raising her children in a gated community of one where the gate was locked to keep the world out, but the most dangerous man in America was locked inside with them. The psychological toll of normalizing a predator's presence in a domestic setting cannot be overstated. The children were raised to view Epstein not as a threat, but as an authority figure, a man to be respected and obeyed because their father deferred to him. This normalization is a form of grooming by proxy, desensitizing the family to the darkness sitting on their sofa. The tragedy of the Wexner bloodline in this era was the abdication of Les Wexner's most primal duty, the protection of his young. A father's role is to stand between his children and the dangers of the world. Les did the opposite. He invited the danger in. By granting Epstein influence over the household staff, Epstein reportedly played a role in vetting security personnel and nannies. Les effectively outsourced the safety of his children to sociopaths. There are chilling accounts of Epstein using his proximity to the Wexner family to burnish his own credentials, using the wholesome image of the Wexner kids to mask his own predatory lifestyle. He could point to his relationship with the children as proof of his normalcy. How could I be a monster? I'm the godfather to the billionaire's kids.
Wow.
The Wexner children became unwilling human shields for Epstein's reputation. Their innocence was weaponized to provide cover for his crimes. Les Wexner, in his obsession with his alter ego, sacrificed the sanctity of his children's privacy. He allowed the predator to access the one thing that money cannot replace: the safe, unpolluted memories of a childhood. The Wexner children grew up in a house where the air was poisoned by secrets, unaware that the man eating breakfast with them was simultaneously running a global human trafficking ring using their father's money.
Years. That's a long time.
Sorry, y'all.
40 open seasons. 54 patterns.
Did they call him Uncle? Did I miss that? He Uncle Daddy?
The most disturbing
He was
aspect
Uncle
of
Daddy?
Abigail Wexner's role in this triangular tragedy was not
sitting on his lap. Oh, I missed that. Oh, Lord. He was Uncle Daddy?
Privacy. He allowed the predator to access the one thing that money cannot replace: the safe, unpolluted memories of a childhood.
Oh, wow.
The Wexner children grew up in a house where the air was poisoned by secrets, unaware that the man eating breakfast with them was simultaneously running a global human trafficking ring using their father's money. The most disturbing aspect of Abigail Wexner's role in this triangular tragedy was not her passivity, but her active participation in legitimizing the predator. As a lawyer and a socialite, Abigail's primary function within the dynasty was to be the face of its benevolence. She chaired the boards, cut the ribbons, and managed the massive charitable giving that solidified the Wexner status as American royalty. Yet forensic accounting reveals that Jeffrey Epstein used Abigail's philanthropy as a washing
babies didn't have a chance.
For his own reputation. Epstein frequently donated to the charities Abigail championed, and in return he was granted access to the polite society that would otherwise have shunned him. By accepting his money and allowing him to attend her galas, Abigail effectively vouched for him. She signaled to the mothers and fathers of Ohio that Uncle Jeff was safe.
Uncle Jeff.
This complicity creates a terrifying moral stain on the family legacy. The Wexner matriarch, knowingly or not, acted as a character witness for a man who was hunting the daughters of the very demographic she claimed to serve. She traded the moral integrity of her platform for the financial liquidity he provided. Observers often ask why Abigail Wexner, a trained attorney, did not simply demand that her husband sever ties with the creep in the guest house. The answer lies in the terrifying legal architecture of the Wexner fortune. Because of the power of attorney signed in 1991 and the complex trust structures Epstein created, the family's wealth was effectively held hostage. Epstein had constructed a financial maze so dense that untangling it would require years of litigation and could potentially expose the family to financial ruin or public scandal. Abigail was wearing golden handcuffs of the heaviest caliber. Her lifestyle, the horses, the estates, the private jets, the security for her children, was funded by a spigot that Epstein controlled. To challenge him was to challenge the flow of money. To divorce Les would have been to divorce a man whose assets were legally intertwined with a sociopath. She was a prisoner of the luxury she inhabited. The tragedy of Abigail Wexner is the tragedy of the deal with the devil. She accepted the premise that Epstein was the wizard who made the billions grow, and the price of that growth was her silence. She learned to look the other way, to rationalize the bizarre behavior, to ignore the rumors, because the alternative was to blow up the foundation of her entire life. By 2007, when Epstein was first arrested in Florida, the Wexner family attempted to sever ties. Lees wrote a letter claiming he had been deceived. Abigail scrubbed the photos, but the damage to the bloodline was permanent. For 14 formative years, the Wexner marriage had been a throuple. The children had been raised under the gaze of a monster. The wife had served as the hostess for a sex trafficker. The spiritual death of the family was complete. They retained their billions, but they had lost their name. They became a family defined not by the lingerie they sold, but by the silence they kept. Abigail Wexner remains the chatelaine of New Albany, but she walks through a house that history will forever remember as a crime scene of the soul, a place where a mother allowed a predator to sit at the head of the table because he paid the bills.
But
when the secrets came
wait a minute,
on July 6, 2019, the private jet carrying Jeffrey Epstein touched down at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, where FBI agents were waiting to arrest him on federal human trafficking charges. For the world, this was the beginning of a sensational news cycle. For the Wexner family, sequestered in their fortress in New Albany, Ohio, it was the detonation of a dirty bomb. By 2007, when Epstein was first arrested in Florida, the Wexner family attempted to sever ties. The family's wealth was effectively held hostage. Epstein had constructed a financial maze so dense that untangling it would require years of litigation and could potentially expose the family to financial ruin or public scandal. Abigail was wearing golden handcuffs of the heaviest caliber. Her lifestyle, the horses, the estates, the private jets, the security for her children, was funded by a spigot that Epstein controlled. To challenge him was to challenge the flow of money. To divorce Les would have been to divorce a man whose assets were legally intertwined with a sociopath. She was a prisoner of the luxury she inhabited. The tragedy of Abigail Wexner is the tragedy of the deal with the devil. She accepted the premise that Epstein was the wizard who made the billions grow, and the price of that growth was her silence. She learned to look the other way, to rationalize the bizarre behavior, to ignore the rumors, because the alternative was to blow up the foundation of her entire life. By 2007, when Epstein was first arrested in Florida, the Wexner family attempted to sever ties. Lees wrote a letter claiming he had been deceived.
Hi, Tamika.
Abigail scrubbed the photos, but the damage to the bloodline was permanent. For 14 formative years, the Wexner marriage had been a throuple. The children had been raised under the gaze of a monster.
Oh, wow.
The wife had served as the hostess for a sex trafficker. The spiritual death of the family was complete. They retained their billions, but they had lost their name. They became a family defined not by the lingerie they sold, but by the silence they kept. Abigail Wexner remains the chatelaine of New Albany, but she walks through a house that history will forever remember as a crime scene of the soul, a place where a mother allowed a predator to sit at the head of the table because he paid the bills. When the secrets came out. On July 6,
so who was the predator?
The private
Epstein
jet
or her
Jeffrey
husband?
Epstein
Who
touched
sat
down
at the head of her
airport
that part
in New Jersey.
Didn't her husband sit at the head of the table? Or so who was the predator? That part right there is not adding up to me. Are they saying that Wexner he didn't sit at the head of his table?
Of the family was complete. They retained their billions, but they had lost their name. They became a family defined not by the lingerie they sold, but by the silence they kept. Abigail Wexner remains the chatelaine of New Albany, but she walks through a house that history will forever remember as a crime scene of the soul, a place where a mother allowed a predator to sit at the head of the table because he paid the bills.
He didn't pay the bills.
Out. On July 6, 2019, the private jet carrying Jeffrey Epstein touched down at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, where FBI agents were waiting to arrest him on federal
Wexner still paid the
trafficking
bills.
charges. For the world, this was the beginning of a sensational news cycle. For the Wexner family, sequestered in their fortress in New Albany, Ohio, it was the detonation of a dirty bomb inside their living room. Leslie Wexner was 81 years old, a man in the twilight of his life, battling the physical frailties of age and preparing for a dignified exit from the public stage. He believed that he had successfully buried the Epstein problem 12 years earlier, in 2008, when he severed ties following Epstein's first lenient conviction. He believed the firewall held. He was wrong. The 2019 indictment did not just target Epstein, it effectively indicted the source of his power. Within hours of the arrest, the global media narrative shifted from "Who is Jeffrey Epstein?" to "Who paid for Jeffrey Epstein?"
Oh, I must have missed that.
And repeatedly,
her husband
was
sat at
Les
the head of the
Wexner.
table. That's what I
The
thought.
psychological impact on the octogenarian patriarch was
He
immediate
was
and
having
devastating.
his children.
Associates described a man who went
He
into a
had
state of shock,
total control
a king in
his
exile,
finances.
watching his lifetime of carefully curated reputation
Oh,
management
wow.
disintegrate in real time.
He
The
did say that.
mortality curse had returned with a vengeance. The ghost he had
But I
invited
still was
into
thinking that
his
he
home
paid
in
for
the
bills in it.
1980s had risen from the grave to drag him down into it. In the weeks following the arrest, the pastoral utopia of New Albany, the English-style village Les had built as a sanctuary, was transformed into a besieged bunker. Journalists from around the world descended on the town, camping out at the gates of the Foxborough estate. Drones buzzed overhead, capturing footage of the mansion where the head of the snake, as some conspiracy theorists labeled Wexner, was hiding.
We're Maurice's, and we're here to give you that styled feeling.
I know he was. Y'all please hit the like button.
At Hardee's, we hate
I know
bread on
he
chicken
was,
sandwiches.
hiding.
Other places don't. We have one.
Abigail Wexner found herself commanding a household under siege. The golden cage had become a literal prison. The family retreated indoors. The blackout curtains were drawn. The social calendar, once filled with galas and equestrian events, was wiped clean. The first family of Ohio became invisible.
Me no speak English.
Inside the house, the atmosphere was necrotic. Les was reported to be in rapidly declining health, suffering from the psychosomatic toll of the scandal. He was a man watching his obituary being written while he was still alive. And the headline was...
Well, I thought that they were trying to summons him. Hold on. Just wait a minute. Y'all please double tap. Let me... And hit the three dots at the top. Why are they... saying that they are wanting to... Oh, he's still alive. Yeah, he talking like maybe he not here, but he's still alive. He 88. Him still alive. So you can stop faking like you were on your way out. You still alive.
Under siege. The golden cage had become a literal prison. The family retreated indoors. The blackout curtains were drawn. The social calendar, once filled with galas and equestrian events, was wiped clean. The first family of Ohio became invisible. Inside the house, the atmosphere was necrotic. Les was reported to be in rapidly declining health, suffering from the psychosomatic toll of the scandal. He was a man watching his obituary being written while he was still
has
alive.
been cloned.
And the headline was not "Retail Genius," but Epstein's enabler. The walls he had built to keep the world out were now keeping the horror in. The family was trapped with the consequences of the patriarch's sin, isolated in a luxury that felt increasingly like a mausoleum. The sudden physical and mental disintegration of Les Wexner in 2020 was not merely a reaction to legal pressure, it was a structural failure of his own ego. For 30 years, Jeffrey Epstein had served a singular, vital function for the billionaire. He was the mirror. He was the daily reinforcement that Les was a genius, a visionary, a man operating on a plane of existence far above the laws of ordinary mortals. Epstein had validated Les's every insecurity, convincing him that their bond was one of intellectual equals, two titans looking down on the world. The revelations of 2019 did not just break the law, they broke the mirror. As the depth of Epstein's deception became undeniable, that the financial wizard was likely a Mossad-linked asset or simply a high-level grifter who viewed Lees as a whale to be harpooned, Les Wexner suffered a catastrophic narcissistic stroke. The humiliation was absolute. He was forced to confront the reality that his best friend, the man he had trusted with his soul and his fortune, had likely never loved him. He had been played. The alter ego he idolized was a phantom. This realization inflicted a specific kind of spiritual injury that is often fatal to the psyche of powerful men. Sources close to the family described a rapid, terrifying shift in Les's demeanor during this period. The sharp, micromanaging intellect that had built Victoria's Secret evaporated, replaced by a fog of confusion and withdrawal. He was not just hiding from the FBI. He was hiding from the shame of his own gullibility. He had traded his reputation for a friendship that was a lie. The mortality curse manifested here, not as a heart attack, but as a total collapse of self-worth. He became a man haunting his own hallways, muttering about betrayal. A King Lear wandering the heath of New Albany while the storm raged outside. The tragedy of the bloodline was compounded by the forced severance of Les's primary emotional tether, his company. For Les Wexner, L. Brands, the parent of Victoria's Secret, was not merely a corporation. It was his firstborn child, the entity he had nurtured since 1963, long before his biological children were born. It was his identity. I am the brand, and the brand is me, was the unspoken mantra that had ruled his life. In early 2020, as the Epstein scandal metastasized, the immune system of Wall Street finally rejected him. The board of directors, once filled with loyalists who owed their careers to Les, turned on him. The stock price was tanking, not because of poor sales, but because the CEO's name was radioactive. The pressure was brutal and intimate. It was a corporate regicide. Lee was effectively told that to save the child, the company, the father had to die. Stepping down as CEO and chairman was a form of patricide. When he signed the papers to surrender control,
sold his soul to the devil.
Last link to his relevance. He was
I guess that's why I ain't never really been impressed with Victoria. I mean, I used to like it, but nah.
The old man with a dirty secret. He returned to the New Albany estate not as a conqueror retiring to his palace, but as a deposed despot sent into exile. The psychological toll on Abigail and the children was palpable.
I know he's sick now because his name is coming back
in
up.
The house with a man who had lost his purpose. They watched the patriarch shrivel. The dynamic shifted from reverence to pity, and perhaps to a quiet, simmering resentment. He had stayed too long at the party, and now he was burning the house down on his way out. During this exile, whispers began to circulate in Ohio society and legal circles about Les Wexner's cognitive health. Reports emerged of neurocognitive issues, severe memory lapses, and a general frailty that seemed to accelerate by the week. To the cynics and the lawyers representing Epstein's victims, this was a convenient shield, a classic defense strategy to avoid testifying in the
Thy chest runneth
lawsuits.
over.
If he can't remember, he can't be deposed. However, to those observing the family dynamic from the inside, the decline appeared genuinely psychosomatic. The guilt and stress of the exposure were eating him alive. Abigail Wexner found herself transitioning from the role of a society hostess to that of a hospice nurse for a reputation. She had to manage the physical reality of a husband who was failing.
No, where Epstein? He better come back from the dead.
Headlines while simultaneously trying to protect her adult children from the fallout. The new Albany mansion transformed into a mausoleum. The vibrant energy of the estate, the equestrian events, the fundraisers, the flow of guests, stopped dead. The family retreated into a bunker mentality. The children, Harry, Hannah, David, and Sarah, were trapped in a paradox. They possessed billions of dollars. Yet they could not show their faces in the circles they were born into without seeing the shadow of Epstein behind every polite smile. They were the heirs to a kingdom that had become a crime scene. On the morning of August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan.
He in
For the
Israel.
world, this was the end of a sordid chapter. For Les Wexner, it was the beginning of a life sentence without parole. Superficially, one might assume the death of the accuser would bring relief to the accused. In reality, Epstein's suicide was the worst possible outcome for the Wexner family. Had Epstein lived to face trial, there was a slim possibility of closure, a chance for facts to be litigated, for distinctions to be drawn, for Les to perhaps testify that he was a victim of financial fraud rather than a co-conspirator in sexual abuse. But with Epstein dead, the narrative froze in amber. The secrets died in that cell.
Amber Alert.
Les Wexner was denied the opportunity for exoneration. He was left holding the bag for a dead man's crimes, eternally linked to a monster who could no longer speak. In the court of public opinion, the silence of the grave was interpreted as an admission of guilt. The ghost of Epstein became more powerful than the living man, hanging over New Albany like a permanent storm cloud that no PR strategy could disperse. Following the death, the social immune system of the elite began to attack the Wexner organism. The name Wexner, which for decades had been synonymous with generosity, medicine, and art, became a glyph of shame. At Ohio State University, Harvard, where Les and Abigail had donated millions.
Who did I not speak to? How did everybody I didn't speak to? I'm sorry.
The removal of their name from buildings. The Wexner Center for the Arts, once a jewel of their legacy, became a site of protest. This erasure hit the family at its most vulnerable point, their pride. The Wexner children, raised to believe their surname was a ticket to respect, watched as it became a liability. They were witnessing the real-time demolition of their heritage. The mortality curse here was not physical death, but social death. The family retained their billions, but their social capital, the currency that truly matters to the ultra-wealthy, was demonetized. They were wealthy pariahs, forced to retreat further into the physical isolation of their estate, cut off from the community they had built. Today, Leslie Wexner exists as a specter in his own life. The merchant prince who reshaped the American mall is now a recluse, rarely seen outside the gates of his New Albany fortress. The tragedy of his final act is absolute. He is a man who spent 50 years building a monument to his own greatness, only to have it defaced by the one person he allowed inside the ropes. Abigail Wexner remains the warden of this luxurious prison, managing the silence, protecting the frail patriarch, and holding together a family that is inextricably bound by trauma. They are trapped in a haunted house of their own making. The guest house where Uncle Jeff stayed is empty.
Uncle Jeff, that's your God. He your God, Pappy.
The lesson of the Wexner dynasty is a brutal one. You can buy silence, you can buy security.
Imagine him being your God, Pappy. I shouldn't have said that, shouldn't I? just would not want him to be. No, you are not the God. Oh no, you the devil. I mean, anyway.
And you can buy the law, but you cannot buy your way out of the shadow of the devil once you have invited him in for dinner.
You chose
The
right.
legacy is sealed. History will not remember Les Wexner for the bras he sold, but for the soul he sold. 4 heirs left to clean up a tainted legacy. The true victims of the Wexner curse are not the parents who made the deals, but the 4 children, Harry, Hannah, David, and Sarah, who must now navigate the world carrying a surname that has been transmuted from gold into lead. In the aristocratic circles of New York, London, and Palm Beach, the name Wexner once opened every door. It signified retail royalty, vast philanthropy, and impeccable connections. Today, it signifies something else entirely. It acts as a conversation stopper, a trigger for awkward silences. To understand their burden, one must look at the silence inside the home. The most haunting image of the family's collapse is the dinner table in 2020.
Did you hit the like button coming in? Did y'all tap coming in, please?
The broken king, physically present but spiritually absent, perhaps struggling to recall the details of the past, or perhaps willfully suppressing them. Across from him sat Abigail, the manager of the ruins, maintaining the facade of normalcy. And around them sat the 4 heirs, the children, who had called a sex trafficker Uncle Jeff, now fully aware of what that meant.
Jeff!
The silence at that table was heavy with unasked questions.
Uncle Jeff is Jeffrey Epstein. Him is your godpappy. He used to play with me when I was little. And I used to think the world of him. I didn't know he had a thing for minors. And now I don't know what he did to me. Oh, Lord, I would just hate. And I don't like using the word hate. I just would not want that. I would be thinking of every little thing he did. I would be looking at everything cross-eyed. I just wouldn't know how to process that. I just wouldn't. That is horrible.
Dad, did you know? Mom, why did you let him stay in the guest house? But in the Wexner dynasty, as in the time of Bella, silence was the currency of survival. They did not confront the patriarch. They protected him. They circled the wagons. But the bond of trust was shattered. The children were no longer looking at a father. They were looking at a liability. The legacy had shifted from
be looking at the devil
to surviving.
Okay, y'all, I'm finna get ready to go for real this time. That's the devil. I mean, you know, you can play all you want and you can come up with whatever name you want to come up with, but that is just evil. That it is just evil. Y'all, I have the live with baby girl set at 9:45. Sleep over or not? Absolutely. Sitting on Uncle knee, bouncing up and down. Him picking, swinging you around. No, put him down. Put him down. They have toys. You have to say it with a stern. Put them down. What the hell is wrong with you? Y'all, I'll be back 9:45.